Hello. Welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. If you want more content, you can follow me on Patreon. I will be uploading more content on there that will be exclusive. The link is in the description. Please support me. 8SW 176. Doflamingo meets Kaido. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. You know, tomorrow, the Revolutionary Army will start to move. Doflamingo continued anxiously. Kaido is no longer on Oni Island at the moment, and Doflamingo knows it. On the way to Ghost Island, he deliberately confirmed the information he received from Peggy Wan. Sure enough, Kaido was not in Ghost Island. He and his aunt led a team to attack the Whitebeard Pirates. In this way, he was completely used by Kaido as a pawn. He was regarded as a scapegoat by him, and was also used by him to delay Bai Ye. But Doflamingo doesn't mind these things. The biggest hatred in his heart now is Bai Ye, who ruined the toy kingdom he worked so hard to build, ruined the entire Don Quixote family, which is equivalent to ruining everything about him, and almost killed him. As long as Kaido can help him get rid of Bai Ye, he is used by Kaido, so what is the point of being used as a chess piece by 583? Seeing that Doflamingo's eyes were blinded by anger, Jin showed a trace of disdain, and said coldly, "That's enough, don't talk about it. I said wait for Master Kaido to come back, just wait for Master Kaido to come back." Okay then. Faced with Jin's unreasonable attitude, although Doflamingo is not reconciled, what can he do? Who let him be bullied by dogs now? Besides, he is seriously injured now, so it is even more impossible to be Jin's opponent. Doflamingo originally thought that he would have to wait a day or two for this wait. If he was unlucky, he might have to wait a week or two. But unexpectedly, things progressed unexpectedly smoothly. That night, Kaido returned to the Island of Ghosts. However, what puzzled everyone was that when he left, he took away dozens of pirate groups under his banner, nearly 5,000 people, and when he came back, he was alone. Advertisement. Of course, no one dared to ask about this matter, and no one dared to mention it. After all, anyone who is not an idiot can see that when Kaido comes back this time, the expression on his face is extremely ugly. On the body is bloodline Madara, who seems to have lost a lot of injuries. Yes, at this time Kaido has already touched the half-dragon form. After touching the half-dragon form, without the cover of dragon scales, the wounds and bloodline on his body are clearly visible. No way, Master Kaido's recovery ability is so pervert, how could he be injured? Who the hell caused it? Nonsense. Needless to say, of course it was caused by Whitebeard, who was known as the strongest man in the world. That's right, only that old guy Whitebeard, who is also the Four Emperors, could possibly injure Lord Governor Kaido. But, isn't it said that Whitebeard was seriously injured in the Summit War, and has reached the point where his fuel is exhausted? Who knows? You know, the Four Emperors are all monster-level guys. If they are monsters, they cannot be judged by common sense. Right, it was a long time after Kaido left before people dared to discuss it cautiously. As for why no one came back to the 5,000 people that Kaido brought with him, everyone kept silent about it. After all, no one wants to live a good life. Some things, just know it well. Master Kaido, are you back so soon? Seeing Kaido coming back, Black Maria, one of the 6 volleyball sons, immediately went up to greet him. Advertisement. As a woman who has a very ambiguous relationship with Kaido, it goes without saying that she is beautiful. Wearing a strapless kimono in the style of Wano-kuni, even ordinary people will inevitably move. The reason why I specifically mention ordinary people is because she is tall, with a height of 8 meters, which is about the same height as Princess Shirahoshi. Only a tall guy like Kaido, Takumi, can match her. When Black Maria saw Kaido coming back, she originally wanted to ask how the attack on the Whitebeard Pirates was going, but seeing Kaido's injuries, she shut up tactfully. Any fool can see that things must be going very badly. Otherwise, Kaido could not have been alone and returned with injuries. Yes, Black Maria, I'm very tired now, I'll find you in your room later. Kaido is really a guy with a strong personality. He is injured all over his body, but he still has energy, and there will be more than 10 games in the evening. I obey. But, Master Kaido, there is one more thing. Black Maria hesitated for a moment, but told Kaido about Doflamingo. What? Dover is here. When Kaido heard Doflamingo's name, he was so angry. 0. Didn't this guy get beaten to death by Bai Ye? Kaido felt that it was Doflamingo's fault that he and Big Mom failed to take down the Whitebeard Pirates and take Whitebeard's life. If Doflamingo delays by an extra hour, he and Big Mom can take out Whitebeard. Kaido even thought at one point that Doflamingo had betrayed him, reached some condition with Bai Ye, and let him go. Otherwise, how could Bai Ye arrive on the battlefield so quickly? Of course, later this suspicion was overturned by himself. Advertisement. Because he personally witnessed Bai Ye's strength. Bai Ye is simply ridiculously powerful, more like a monster than this monster. Bai Ye is so powerful, no wonder Doflamingo can't keep him. But this doesn't reduce Kaido's anger towards Doflamingo. He thinks that as long as Doflamingo plays a role, he won't end up in such a mess. Well, he still dares to come to Lousy. Lousy wants to hear what important information he has, and he wants to tell Lousy. If he can't tell the reason, let's see if Lousy won't twist his head off and use it as a wine glass. Kaido said angrily. Soon, under Jin's arrangement, Doflamingo met a gloomy Kaido in a room. Seeing that Kaido's situation is no better than his own, Doflamingo is a little surprised at 1.6, but it seems to be within his expectation. Doflamingo, unexpectedly, you still have the guts to come to me. Don't blame Lousy for not giving you a chance, while you still have the chance to speak, hurry up and say what you want to say. After Kaido saw Doflamingo, he still lost his identity. This Kaido. Doflamingo didn't expect that he was just being used by Kaido, and he was still so unwelcome by him, and he was very annoyed in his heart. But people had to bow their heads under the eaves. Besides, if he still wanted to seek revenge from Bai Ye, he had to borrow the hands of Kaido. The thing is like this, just this morning, I received an important piece of information. Bai Ye met with the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long. Doflamingo didn't dare to talk nonsense, and just got to the point when he opened his mouth. Did Bai Ye meet Monkey D. Dragon? 177. Kaido, tell me Doflamingo, what is your condition? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye met Monkey D. Dragon. Kaido heard the words, his complexion eased a lot, and he fell into deep thought. Seeing this, Doflamingo knew about the game, and immediately went on to say, the reason why the two of them met was to work together to do something big. What a big deal. Kaido finally couldn't help it, and said. Power Rock, also called Primitive Rock Governor, you must have heard of it, right? That's right, the Revolutionary Army and Bai Ye, oh, of course, and Neo Marine, are going to do big things together. It is to join forces to steal the Power Rock. Doflamingo didn't dare to ink, and said hastily. A Power Rock that claims to be superior to ancient weapons. HMPH, this thing is indeed powerful, but how can it compare with ancient weapons that can destroy the world? Kaido snorted coldly. Regardless of whether it can really be compared with ancient weapon, anyone who knows it knows that its power is terrifying, as long as a small piece is enough to destroy an island. Advertisement. And in a certain marine base, and as far as I know, in a certain marine secret branch 30 base, there is a large amount of power rocks kept and stored. The amount is large enough to destroy the entire world. As Doflamingo spoke, he paid close attention to the subtle changes in the expression on Kaido's face. Sure enough, when dealing with monsters, one should always be on tenterhooks. Kaido, who was still angry with Doflamingo, finally couldn't help but said, so, you know where the secret branch base that keeps the Power Rock is, right? Although the world government tried its best to conceal the existence of the Power Rock, there are still quite a few people who know about the Power Rock. Especially pirates, who understand the powerful power of the Power Rock, are not tempted. However, very few people know where the world government hides the Power Rock. I'm afraid, even Marine, who is in charge of protecting the Power Rock, doesn't know what they are protecting and how dangerous it is. Even Marine, who was in charge of protecting the Power Rock, didn't know that he was protecting the Power Rock, so how could other people know where the Power Rock was hidden? So, if Doflamingo doesn't even know what secret base the Power Rock is hiding in, it's all bullshit. Sure enough, Kaido guessed right, and Doflamingo still kept a hand. Of course, I worked very hard to install my informant among the top Marines. Because of him, I not only know the secret base where the Power Rock is hidden, but also know a big secret of the world government. Doflamingo said with a smug look on his face. Advertisement. Unfortunately, Kaido is not interested in the big secret soldier of the world government that Doflamingo said, he only cares about the Power Rock now. Since a large amount of Power Rocks is enough to destroy the entire world, similarly, whoever controls a large amount of Power Rocks is equivalent to controlling the entire world. World government, isn't it because it controls the Power Rock that it is so confident? So, as long as you have enough Power Rocks, you will have the strength to fight against the world government. No wonder, a stuffy guy like Monkey D. Dragon would seek to cooperate with Bai Ye. Kaido spoke again. That's right, probably the Revolutionary Army has been at a disadvantage for too long. The dragon has lost that patience, and wants to directly gain the strength enough to fight against the world government by stealing the Power Rock. Doflamingo agreed with Kaido's words, and at the same time, secretly patted Kaido's ass. Of course, Kaido is not convinced. Tell me, Doflamingo, what's your condition? Kaido said very bluntly. Although they have been partners for many years, they are only business partners, and there is only a relationship of interest between them. Just like this time, Kaido can dump the blame on Doflamingo without hesitation for a little profit. Since Doflamingo came to look for Kaido, he said that Doflamingo is willing to provide the address information of the secret base. Correspondingly, Kaido also knows that Doflamingo cannot provide address information for free, and even, because of the previous incident, Doflamingo is very likely to open his mouth. Advertisement. My condition is very simple, as long as you are willing to lead the Beast's pirates out, take this opportunity and help me get rid of Bai Ye. Doflamingo gritted his teeth. He can provide Kaido with the specific address information of the secret base where the Power Rock is hidden, and there is only one condition, that is, Kaido is willing to lead the Beast's pirates out, and take this opportunity to get rid of Bai Ye. Between Bai Ye and I, there is an irreconcilable hatred. If there is me, there will be no him. Kaido, as long as you are willing to pay a price to help me get rid of Bai Ye, I naturally don't mind which marine base the power rock is hidden in. Doflamingo no longer hides, his purpose is to take revenge on Bai Ye. Seeing that Doflamingo was completely dazzled by hatred, Kaido secretly rejoiced. In this way, he can make better use of Doflamingo. Should I lead the Beast's pirates out? This risk is a bit big. You must know that the power of the Revolutionary Army is not ordinary, and the dragon, his strength 360 is also hidden. He and Bai Ye, if this monster joins forces, even if the entire Beast's pirates come out, it will be difficult to deal with. Kaido voiced his concerns. Of course I know this. If the Revolutionary Army wasn't so powerful, I wouldn't have asked you to lead the entire Beast's pirates out, didn't I? That's exactly what you said. Kaido, think about it carefully. The reason why you are willing to work together with the world government this time, is it really just to attack the Whitebeard Pirates? Isn't it because you want to get rid of Bai Ye? A great hidden danger in the future. Moreover, I also know that he ruined your good deed in the Fishman Island, not only killed Jack the Drow, but also severely injured Epidemic Quinn. Since we have a common enemy, why don't we work together? Take this opportunity to kill Bai Ye. I will let my informant placed at the top of Marine set a trap for Bai Ye in advance. The cooperation between the Revolutionary Army and Bai Ye, to put it bluntly, is just a transaction. When the time comes, the dragons will be intimidated by the Beast's pirates, and they may not be willing to put the entire Revolutionary Army in danger for Bai Ye. It is very likely, he will choose to compromise, leave with a part of the power rock, and leave Bai Ye alone. 178. Go to Saiken Island and meet the dragon. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye is indeed powerful, but if he is alone, how can he be the opponent of me, you, and the entire Beast's pirates? Even if the dragon is more loyal than we imagined, it doesn't matter. Beast's pirates, don't there be 6 volleys, and many real fighters. Of course, there is also Yan Calamity Jin, who is not weaker than Marine Admiral. In order to convince Kaido, Doflamingo tried his best and said a lot of words in one breath. Kaido heard the words, his face was not many calls from the beginning to the end. It can be seen that Kaido is also a very cautious person. He admits that what Doflamingo said is very reasonable, but the risk is still a bit high. After all, there is a possibility of conflict with the Revolutionary Army. What is the Revolutionary Army? In Kaido's view, they are a group of desperados. Although these pirates are known as outlaws, in the confrontation with the world government and Marine, they choose more compromises and compromises. The two sides can avoid conflicts as much as possible, and even world government and Marine use their 4 emperors to maintain the balance of the entire new world. The 4 emperors are also willing to check and balance each other. After all, if there is a monopoly situation, it means that the balance is broken. At that time, the world government and Marine will not sit idly by. But the Revolutionary Army is different. Their purpose is to overthrow the world government, and to fight against the world government and the Marine. Just do it hard. Therefore, in Kaido's view, the Revolutionary Army is a group of desperados in the true sense. It is very possible to be an enemy of this group of desperados, and it is very possible to steal chickens and lose money. But then again, in fact, everything is still linked to interests. As long as Kaido believes that the benefits of this action outweigh the risks, then he will take action, otherwise, he will naturally not take action. I'll think about it again. Advertisement. Kaido still chooses to be cautious. Although Bai Ye is seriously injured now, this is the best chance to take the opportunity to get rid of him. But among them, there are still too many things to consider. The first is the Revolutionary Army, and then there is the New Sea Army that cooperates with the Revolutionary Army, that is, Neo Marine. The name of Black Arm Zephyr, Kaido has heard of it a lot. The 3 Marines Admiral, Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji were all trained by him. When the Rocks Pirates had just disbanded, Kaido often fought against Black Arm Zephyr, and even encountered risks under his command many times. Therefore, knowing that Black Arm Zephyr will also participate in this matter, Duo has to be more cautious. I don't have time to think about it. The Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine will take action tomorrow. At that time, Bai Ye will definitely keep his promise and take action. Doflamingo looked anxious. In other words, must a decision be made tonight? When Kaido heard this, the expression on his face became more serious. It seems that this is no time for him to think about it, forcing him to make a decision tonight. At the same time, the Whitebeard Pirates. Bai Ye received a call from Long. The information on the phone is concise and clear. Tomorrow morning, we will gather at Saiken Island, which is famous for its hot spring industry. The Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine will naturally be waiting for him there. When the time comes, everyone is here, let's act together. Advertisement. After hanging up the phone, Bai Ye also knew the exact location of the Marine secret base where the power rock is hidden. That's right, it's on Foz Island, which is adjacent to Second Island. Foz Island, Saiken Island, and End Island are one of the 3 ending points. The 3 islands are connected to each other by the Dock Island in the middle. Regarding the plot of Power Rock, it should have been mentioned in the Pirates theatrical version. But Bai Ye, how can I remember so much? After talking with Long on the phone this time, he just remembered. Of course, these are irrelevant. Tomorrow, as long as you abide by the agreement you made with Long, go to Saikan Island and gather with Long and the others. Oh, by the way, for this operation, I have to bring that little lowly, Xiao Tang. After all, I kept her by my side for this purpose. Bai Ye said, with a sinister look on his face. Fortunately, little Lolita Sugar is not in Bai Ye's room, otherwise, if she hears Bai Ye's words and sees his evil expression, she will leave a huge shadow in her heart. Not long after hanging up the phone, Robin pushed open the door of Bai Ye's room. A beautiful night. Early the next morning, Bai Ye and Whitebeard, who was still drunk, said that he had something to do, so he took the sugar and took the peak to Saikan Island. Of course, Robin is there too. Although, after a night of ups and downs, she was very tired. But when she learned that Bai Ye was going to bring sugar, she decided to follow. After getting along with Granos for 2 days, she still has a good impression of this little lowly, and both of them are sisters. Robin insisted on following him on the grounds that he was worried about the sugar, and Bai Ye couldn't help it either. Of course, it doesn't matter. Anyway, Robin staying with him is actually no less insecure than staying in the Whitebeard Pirates territory. Advertisement. On the contrary, it is safer. Peak is extremely fast. It departs at 6 o'clock, and after 2 or 3 hours, it arrives at Saikan Island, an island famous for its hot spring industry. Hot springs, I really want to go to the hot springs. When Grano saw the hot spring hotels everywhere, she suddenly became restless, took Robin's hand, and asked her to take her to a hot spring. After soaking in the hot springs, there is plenty of time, and now there are still things to do. However, after receiving a sharp stare from Bai Ye, she immediately calmed down. Robin couldn't laugh or cry when he heard this. It seems that only Bai Ye can properly treat the bear child of Granos. Soon, at a certain port on Saikan Island, Nujiao's Bai Ye successfully met with Long's men. There are not many people waiting at the port, but there are quite a few ships behind them. Calculated in this way, because the troops they brought with them in this operation still have a lot of lungs. Also, after all, we are going to attack the Power Rock, which is strictly guarded by Marine, so can we bring more troops? You know, there is a Marine branch base on Foz Island. Beside the dragon stood a tall and strong man with purple hair. The right arm of the purple-haired man has been transformed into a mechanical arm, smasher, equipped with sea stone. That's right, the purple-haired man is exactly the Z in Neo Marine, that is, Zephyr. Judging from his tough and strong appearance, who would believe that he is already an old man in his 70s? Black Arm Zephyr was like his face, with a dark face, and he was even more displeased when he saw Bai Ye coming slowly. 179. Foz Island, war broke out. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It seems that some people regard this operation as a hot spring tourism, and even drag their families along. As soon as Bai Ye arrived, Zephyr couldn't help but snorted and mocked. When Zephyr spoke, everyone reacted differently. The first is Bai Ye. He is almost expressionless. After all, he knows the reason, nothing more than the old Zephyr, who hates pirates deeply. It's okay to cooperate with the Revolutionary Army, but Zephyr is naturally reluctant to cooperate with him, a pirate from the Whitebeard Pirates. That's right, after all, his wife was still a family member and was killed by a pirate, and that pirate became a Shichibukai. Although the original book does not mention which pirate killed Zephyr's family, it can be inferred from the timeline that it was probably killed by Blackbeard. Otherwise, it would be impossible for Zephyr not to rebel sooner or later, but not long after the Summit War ended, Zephyr rebelled against Marine and world government. Followed by Robin, she was a little shy when she heard the words. To drag the family, doesn't that mean that people regard her and Bai Ye as a couple? There is also Sugar. Hearing the words, the little mouth is full of anger. You black-faced old bastard, don't think I don't know what drag the family means. You are the daughter of this idiot Bai Ye, and your whole family is. Granos waved his fist angrily, wanting to go forward and beat the old man 723 in front of him. Fortunately, Robin caught him firmly. Seeing this, Zephyr sighed in his heart, this kid is really a bear. However, how could she know so much at such a young age? The last one was the dragon. He never expected that Zephyr would show such deep hostility to Bai Ye. No wonder, Bai Ye mentioned something in the phone bug last night. Advertisement. However, now is not the time for the two sides to be deadlocked, so after Long came back to his senses, he immediately smoothed things over. I have a different opinion with General Z. On the contrary, I think this is more proof of Bai Ye's trust in us. Long suddenly said. Zephyr heard this, and couldn't refute it even if he wanted to. Indeed, what Long said is right, doing this kind of thing is clearly a narrow escape, if it is not because of trust, who would drag the family and lead them out? At least, ask yourself, if his family is still there, when he does this kind of thing, he will never bring his family with him. Humph. Finally, Zephyr just snorted coldly. However, This also shows that he is willing to join forces with Bai Ye to do this thing. Hearing this, Long couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. You probably don't know each other yet, let me introduce you to each other. This is Mr. Bai Ye, who is known as the most demon in the new era, and this is Zephyr, who is known as Black Arm. The old gentleman is also the leader of the new Marine Neo Marine, General. Long opened his mouth and introduced. General Z, hello. Bai Ye simply greeted Zephyr. Zephyr still just snorted coldly. Seeing that Bai Ye and Zephyr didn't want to see each other, they didn't have much to say, so they could only say, time is running out, let's talk again when we have a chance, now, let's start our action. Then let's get started, Bai Ye said. Advertisement. Afterwards, under the leadership of Long, everyone boarded the ship of the Revolutionary Army and headed for Foz Island. As expected, Foz Island is very strictly guarded. Obviously, it's just a Marine branch base, but the defense is tight, but it's no weaker than the Naval Headquarters base. In the past, people only thought that this was because it was one of the endpoints, but who would have thought that? In fact, this is not the main reason at all. The main reason is that there is an extremely dangerous ore hidden in the branch base of Foz Island, Power Rock. Because of the Power Rock, the back of the hand of the Marine branch base cannot be too strict. Just the elite Vice Admiral, there are 7 of them. Zephyr released observation hockey, and after perceiving the general situation of Marine base, he said with a sullen face. Hearing this, Bai Ye couldn't help but look at Zephyr more. It seems that his understanding of Zephyr is still limited. I only know that his armament hockey is very powerful, but he didn't expect his observation hockey to be so powerful. Also, after all, he is the guy who can teach Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji, how could he be poor in all aspects? That's why Zephyr said this. After all, he said this with another meaning, that is, at least 5 of the 7 elite vice admirals came out of his teaching. Although Zephyr is not a good Marine, he is definitely a good teacher. The Marine newcomers he taught, in the end, either became 3 admirals, or became elite vice admirals, the pillars of Marine. However, it is precisely because he personally taught several elite vice admirals that Zephyr knows that this operation is not easy. Fortunately, he chose to join forces with the Revolutionary Army, otherwise, relying on him and Neo Marine, if he wants to gnaw this hard bone, he will at least have to pay a heavy price. In the theatrical version, Zephyr was seriously injured because of this operation, and was rescued by the protagonist group Straw Hats. When Long saw the defensive strength of the branch base, he was also moved. He found Bai Ye to help this time, so he found the right one. Advertisement. Report to Virgo Vice Admiral, a suspicious ship has been spotted at 3 o'clock in front of you. On the other side, the branch base on Foz Island is indeed heavily guarded. The ships of the Revolutionary Army were spotted by soldiers just as they approached. It seems that what should come is finally here. A Marine Vice Admiral with a resolute Chinese character face, heard the words, and murmured to himself. Virgo Vice Admiral, what are you talking about? The Marine soldier was stunned upon hearing this. Oh, it's nothing. Pass down the order. All staff are at the highest level of security, ready to face the battle at any time. In addition, I have to trouble you to inform the other Vice Admirals of this situation as soon as possible. Virgo ordered. Yes. The Marine soldiers hurriedly took orders and left. Not long after, a fierce naval battle broke out in the waters near Foz Island. Of course, due to the disparity in strength between the two sides, there is almost no suspense in this battle. After all, Foz Island has only one Marine branch base. No matter how tight the defense is, it cannot be compared to naval headquarters. On the other side, the Revolutionary Army is cooperating with Neo Marine. In addition, the demon Bai Ye is added. The disparity in power between the two sides is so great, how can the strength of a Marine branch base alone contend? So, soon, the ships of the Revolutionary Army landed on the island smoothly. On the island, quite fierce fighting also broke out. On Marine's side, although they fought stubbornly and fought desperately, there was nothing they could do. The power gap between the two sides was too great. 180. Students of the Black Arm Zephyr. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's fine if Bai Ye doesn't make a move. Marine, relying on several elite vice admirals, can barely fight against Dragon and Zephyr. But when Bai Ye made a shot, Marine really had no hope of winning at all. There is Teacher Zephyr. Marshal Sengoku was right. Unexpectedly, Mr. Zephyr rebelled against Marine in the end. Unfortunately, I didn't trust the teacher so much before. It seems that I blamed the Marshal of Zon, Guo by mistake. On this side, the 7 elite vice admirals gathered in a bitter battle couldn't help but start discussing. It's the former Marshal Sengoku. Virgo Vice Admiral especially emphasized a sentence. After hearing the words, everyone remembered that Sengoku's dynasty as a marshal had passed. The current marshal is Akainu. They, the old Vice Admiral, are loyal to Marshal Sengoku, but, like Virgo and another young Vice Admiral, they are loyal to Akainu. Of course, everyone knows that there is no objection to arguing about these now. It's completely meaningless to say these things now. It's impossible for us to win if Teacher and Long join forces. What's more, there is also a demon, Bai Ye. It seems that this time they are bound to win the power rock we guard. Black Crow Vice Admiral, how can you tell this secret? There are newcomers here. Vice Admiral, it doesn't matter. Now, it's useless to keep this a secret. Yeah, with our few Vice Admirals, it's impossible to hold it. Virgo, I didn't say that. You were really unlucky. This happened just 3 days after you were transferred from the $5 branch base. The guy named Black Crow Vice Admiral suddenly spoke to Virgo. This is the foresight of the Marine headquarters. Unfortunately, they still did not expect that the scale of this attack would be so large. Advertisement. Honey Badger Vice Admiral spoke again. Virgo was silent when he heard the words. Could he tell them that 3 days ago, he himself applied to the Marine headquarters to be transferred to the Foz Island branch base? Everything is just to complete the revival plan of that adult. Black Crow, Honey Badger, and you guys, don't you come over to say hello to your teacher. Winning this battle is only a matter of time, so Zephyr is in no hurry. Teacher Zephyr, I never expected that you would betray Marine after all. I have always regarded you as my idol. A wounded Marine Vice Admiral spoke. Take this old man as an idol. Ha 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 ha. Honey Badger, you are still the same stupid. Zephyr said grimly. Now, you only have 2 choices, either, obediently hand over the power rock, or, die. If you choose the former, because you are my students, this old man may let you join Neo Marine, and it is not a bad idea to become the backbone. Must. Zephyr spoke again. Teacher Zephyr, you have to think about it clearly. By doing this, you are not only making an enemy of the Marine government, but also making an enemy of the world government and the whole world. The Black Crow has a tougher attitude than the Honey Badger. HMPH, a few years ago, when the world government ignored my objection and insisted on forming the 7 warlords of the sea, a team composed of pirates, this old man has already made up his mind. Sure enough, a guy became a Shichibukai. So, Black Crow, don't be so naive anymore. This old man has already made up his mind to die. For the sake of the real peace of this world and the elimination of all pirates, so what if this old man dies? I just don't know if you have already made up your mind to die. Make up your mind to die. Advertisement. Zephyr showed the determination on his face. Since you say so, teacher, there is nothing you can do. Hearing the words, the Black Crow sighed. He thought of thousands of ways to die, dying in the hands of pirates, hiding in the belly of sea kings, or dying alone, but he never expected that he would die in the hands of his teacher. Black Crow, we are doomed to be impossible to win this battle, but no matter what, we must let people bring this news out. Honey Badger suggested suddenly. Yeah, but, who will bring this news out? None of the Marine soldiers on the scene is capable and can guarantee to escape from here. A Marine Vice Admiral said. Then choose one of the 7 of us. Honey Badger spoke again. Then Virgo, he is young and powerful. Even among the 7 of us, he has the best chance of escaping. 0 for flowers. Well, that's it. Virgo, next, the 6 of us old guys will try our best to cover you and help you escape from the island. What you have to do is, after you escape, get rid of this incident as soon as possible. Tell the Marine government and the world government. Virgo, don't you want to? Okay. Virgo was silent for a while, and agreed to the matter. Although, he was a little touched. However, to achieve great things, sacrifices must be made. Advertisement. It's just that these old guys were unlucky and became victims of paving the way. That's good. Honey Badger Vice Admiral heaved a sigh of relief. Then, the cover operation begins. Black Crow is more decisive. As he spoke, he rushed towards Zephyr, Long, and Bai Ye first. Seeing this, the other Vice Admirals, except Virgo, rushed up one after another. Bai Ye, Zephyr, and Long stood in a triangle. This created an illusion for Black Crow and the others. Obviously there were 7 people on their side and only 3 people on the opposite side, but for some reason, they always had an illusion that 7 of them were surrounded by 3 people. Oh, for the sake of the so-called justice, are you going to risk your life to protect the power rock? Black Crow, you are not only naive, but also impulsive as always, which is a waste of the old man's hard work. That's what Zephyr said, but he didn't show mercy at all. The smasher on the right arm hits a Black Crow. Crowstorm. The Black Crow hastily used its fruit ability to avoid the attack of Zephyr's pulverizer. However, with the sea stone installed in the shredder, even if the crows turned into a flock of crows and scattered, they would be blasted back to their original form immediately. On this side, Black Crow and Zephyr played against each other, but did not get any benefits. On the other hand, Marine Vice Admiral, who played against Bai Ye and Dragon, also didn't jump to any bargains. The leader of the Revolutionary Army, Monkey D. Dragon. You said, if Lousy takes your head back, will Lousy be promoted to Marine Admiral in an exceptional way, and Fujitora or Green Bull will be squeezed out directly. Lousy is this I have dreamed all my life, I have always wanted to be Admiral. 181 Black Crows are desperate, killing 3,000 crows. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. While talking, the honey badger attacked the dragon. Then you are doomed to only dream in this life. Moreover, this dream will end today. Long snorted coldly. For a time, there were thunder and lightning, and it was very windy and stormy. The dragon, rare, used his mystical abilities. Worthy of being the leader of the revolutionary army, dragon, what a powerful ability. However, if you think Laozi will be so afraid, then you are very wrong. Laozi will tell you with his fist that you are wrong. Laozi wants to be admiral, but it was never a dream. Honey Badger roared angrily, and with an iron fist, broke through the thunder, lightning and wind and rain, and blasted towards the dragon. He, nicknamed, the Honey Badger, has it all. If you don't agree with the Mother F. Kerr, do it. Unexpectedly, there is a vice admiral like you in Marine. Letting you stay here and guard the power rock for the rest of your life is a waste of talent. Long said. 553, with emotion. He had thought about trying to attract honey badgers. But he knew that it was absolutely impossible for this kind of veteran to be recruited by him. Therefore, there is no need to say more about the latter. Boom. Dragon and honey badger exchange punches. Zephyr, it seems that the stupid student you said got your true inheritance. Long opened his mouth and said something. The ground under his feet was still cracking in the shape of a spider web. It can be seen how powerful this iron fist is. Before Zephyr lost his right arm, he was known for his two iron fists, hence the nickname Black Arm Zephyr. And Honey Badger's armament hockey iron fist obviously has the true inheritance of Zephyr. Even, there is a little bit of garp. That's needless to say, don't look at it, who taught this group of idiots? It's the old man. Zephyr said loudly in a very arrogant tone. Advertisement. Old. Teacher. Heya waited for several vice admirals to hear the words, but they all froze for a moment. Because they saw that Zephyr, an old guy whose body and mind had been occupied by hatred, actually had tears in his eyes. As the Iron Man tender. What a boring plot. Compared to Zephyr, Bai Ye is more like a ruthless demon. He directly grabbed Marine Vice Admiral, the youngest among them, and the power of Iron Dragon Slayer burst out, tearing him in half. Evil. Demon. Another Marine Vice Admiral, who was fighting alongside him, immediately became frightened when he saw this. Long and Zephyr cast surprised glances at Bai Ye. They are not great benevolent people either. In order to achieve their goals, they have used some vicious methods and sacrificed many people's lives. But they never expected that Bai Ye is more ruthless than they imagined. Bai Ye didn't care about the eyes of the two, and said, "You two, don't bother, get rid of them quickly, we don't have much time to waste here." Under Bai Ye's urging, Heffa had to get serious. Soon, the three teamed up and easily eliminated 6 Marine Vice Admirals. One less. Bai Ye was the first to notice that something was wrong. Can't let anyone get away. Hearing this, Long's expression suddenly turned serious. His ability to manipulate the weather allows him to have the same ability as Bai Ye's Dragon Slayer magic in the sky, and has a perception ability beyond ordinary people. Soon, he caught Virgo, who was fleeing the scene desperately through the flow of air, that is, the wind. I want to run, but there is no way. The dragon stretched out his hand and grabbed Virgo from the air. It was obviously thousands of meters away, but as soon as he stretched out his hand, an invisible huge transparent wind claw appeared behind Virgo, grabbing towards Virgo. Wolf. If the only person on the scene who didn't want to let anyone go, it must be Long. He didn't want the revolutionary army to be completely passive in this game with the world government just because he let go of a Marine Vice Admiral. Advertisement. What? Virgo, who has been strategizing and looking calm, felt the wind behind him that was sharper than a knife. At this moment, he finally lost his composure. Is this the strength of the leader of the revolutionary army, the dragon? However, at this critical moment, a felled guy suddenly jumped from the ground and stopped in front of the dragon. Dragon, do you want to drive Marine to extinction? No way. Marine's new power is endless. Ah. It's the flat-headed honey badger. Just do it. If you don't accept it, how could he fall down and admit defeat? As long as he still has breath, he will do it to the end, desperately to the end. Edo. Flutter. The dragon's wind claws immediately pierced this poor unlucky guy completely. Cough. Cough cough. The honey badger looked at the pierced body in disbelief, and slowly fell backwards. Ah. Marine Admiral, my dream. The honey badger died with a smile on his face. Long looked indifferent. Because of the intervention of the honey badger, Virgo escaped smoothly. Honey badger. The crow suddenly yelled. Among the 7 elite vice admirals guarding Foz Island, he and honey badger are the most at odds, but who can be sure? Did these two Marines who came from the same class ever have a life and death relationship? Teacher Zephyr. Ha ha ha. Is this what you want to see? Black Crow laughed wildly. I'm sorry, Teacher Fa. Crow suddenly apologized. 3,000 crows. Kill. Advertisement. After apologizing, Black Crow's body suddenly shattered inch by inch. The Black Crow's body was directly broken into thousands of pieces, and each piece turned into a Black Crow. The Black Crow originally represented darkness. But who can be sure, in the darkness, has there never been light? The Black Crow's body emitted an extremely dazzling light. Not good. Bai Ye suddenly called out. Even someone as powerful as him can feel a sense of danger. No wonder, he had to apologize to Zephyr. After all, he wants to die together with his teacher and everyone on the court. Bang! A mushroom cloud rose into the sky above Foz Island. 5.8 The entire Foz Island is covered by extinguishing light. Is this the mighty power of an elite vice admiral who risked his life? In the flames, Bai Ye came out unharmed. Of course, he held one in one arm. One is Robin and the other is Sugar. Of all the people on the island, he cared about only the two of them. Let me go. Being hugged tightly by Bai Ye, Robin naturally enjoyed it very much. But for Granu, who hated Bai Ye deeply, he felt very uncomfortable. Although she is also grateful to Bai Ye for saving him, but just, can't forgive him, who let him kill the young Master Doflamingo. Cough. Cough cough. Coughing sounds, it's Zephyr's. He was covered in blood and his left arm was also injured. 182 Sabo. Jump from here. Jumping into the sea in a group. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It seems that no matter what, Zephyr cannot escape the fate of being seriously injured in this battle. Damn it, Zephyr, look at the good students you've made. Long, like Bai Ye, was safe and sound. However, looking at the corpses of the Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine all over the ground, Jonan couldn't help but feel a hostile look on his face. This mysterious guy who has always been wearing a hood and never moves easily, at this moment, finally revealed another side. Originally, the battle plan for this time was so perfect that they could have won this victory and captured the Power Rock with only a small loss of troops. So far, the battle is a complete victory. But never expected, a honey badger let a Marine vice admiral run away, a black crow caused the Revolutionary Army to lose more than 1/5. And these two guys are Zephyr's proud students. How could the dragon hold back his face? What, Long, do you have a grudge against this old man? Don't forget, without this old man, it would be impossible for the Revolutionary Army to know the exact address where the Power Rock is hidden. With the current power of your Revolutionary Army, if you want to fight against the world government, there is no for Power Rocks, 30 will be another 10 years. Zephyr didn't budge at all, said coldly. Long, don't think that only your Revolutionary Army has lost a lot of people, and our Neo Marine has also lost a lot of people. Ain, who had been guarding Zephyr's side all the time, couldn't help but speak. Stop arguing, the most important thing now is the Power Rock. But don't cause the Power Rock to be destroyed because of this explosion, that would be bad. Bai Ye picked up a dying Marine Vice Admiral from the ground, and said. Strangely enough, it was Bai Ye who acted as the peacemaker this time. Advertisement. Indeed, I was impulsive. General Zephyr, I apologize. Hearing this, Long hesitated for a moment, and finally spoke. After all, he is the one who does great things. Moreover, there is no revolution without sacrifice. Their sacrifices are just paving the way for the revolution. Now, the most important thing is the dynamic rock. Forget it, the old man won't argue with you so much, let's go. As for Zephyr, all he cares about is the Power Rock. Even if this battle took place in the wilderness outside the Marine Branch Base, and there is still a little distance from the Marine Branch Base, Bai Ye's worries are still justified. The 3,000 crows that the Black Crow blew himself up in an attempt to kill everyone made Bai Ye feel in danger, and its power can be imagined. The Marine Branch Base, which was a kilometer away, was also affected. Houses and buildings collapsed one after another. Even the headquarters building had a huge crack in it, half of which collapsed directly and turned into ruins. If Power Rock, an extremely unstable ore, is stored in the headquarters building, and the storage tank containing coolant and Power Rock ruptures, the consequences will be unimaginable. It is estimated that the entire Foz Island and the sea area with a radius of several kilometers were blown into ashes on the spot. Of course, Marine wouldn't be so stupid as to directly store something as dangerous as Power Rock in the headquarters building. Otherwise, in the event of an earthquake or something, the high-level officers and soldiers in the headquarters building would all die. Bai Ye speculates that the Power Rock should be stored in a very safe underground warehouse. The underground warehouse has a strong anti-seismic system. Even if a huge earthquake occurs on Foz Island and collapses all the houses on the ground, the underground warehouse will be safe. Only in this way can the Power Rock be preserved without any risk. Advertisement. The Marine Vice Admiral that Bai Ye picked up from the ground was not dead yet, and still breathed a sigh of relief. Bai Ye wanted to extract from him the location of Marine's underground warehouse for storing Power Rocks. Of course, it is conceivable that this guy would rather die than surrender for the so-called justice, whose back has been scorched. He even laughed at everyone, saying that it is impossible to find the Power Rock. However, soon, he was slapped in the face. You don't need to ask him, it's impossible for him to tell. As for where the Power Rock is hidden, the old man happens to know. Zephyr didn't even look at that Marine Vice Admiral, but just said to Bai Ye. Now that you know where the Power Rock is hidden, it's easy to handle, and you can have a lot of time left. Bai Ye didn't expect that Zephyr even knew where the Power Rock was hidden. However, think about it, before Zephyr rebelled, he was always one of the top cadres of Marine, and even 5 of the 7 Marine elite Vice Admiral who were in charge of guarding and protecting the Power Rock were not his favorite students. Therefore, he knew where the Power Rock was hidden, but it was not a big surprise. It is even possible that he was the one who received the order from the world government and personally sent these students to Foz Island to guard the Power Rock. Under the guidance of Zephyr, everyone went straight through the Marine Branch base and came to the other side of the base. Going forward, there was a cliff, and below the cliff was the sea. When everyone saw this, they were somewhat incomprehensible. Why did Zephyr bring them to the cliff? They thought that Zephyr should stop somewhere in the Marine Branch. However, everyone guessed wrong. Even Bai Ye guessed wrong. Jump down, Zephyr said blankly. Advertisement. What? The dragon and a group of demon fruit power were shocked. Interesting. On the contrary, Bai Ye found it interesting. Hearing this, Zephyr couldn't help but take another look at Bai Ye. To be honest, he felt that the strength Bai Ye showed before was nothing more than that. The so-called strongest demon in the new era seems to be just a bragging from the outside world. Of course, he didn't know that at this time Bai Ye's strength was only half of his usual strength due to the powerful side effects of casting forbidden magic. But after hearing Bai Ye's words, it was the first time that he felt admiration for Bai Ye. He felt that Bai Ye, a young man, would definitely make a difference in the future. He is a guy who can be dealt with as soon as possible, and must be dealt with. Yes, Zephyr's admiration for Bai Ye does not make him feel good about Bai Ye. On the contrary, it only makes him think that Bai Ye is a dangerous person, and if he has the opportunity, he must deal with it as soon as possible. Of course, these are useless now. After Zephyr finished speaking, he took the lead in jumping from the cliff towards the sea. Damn it, he himself is not a capable person, so if he said jumping into the sea, he jumped into the sea. Naturally, it is easy to say, but most of us are capable people. In the Revolutionary Army, a young man wearing a top hat couldn't help but screamed. The young man looked to be in his early 20s, with short blonde hair and a tooth missing from the side of his mouth. It was the Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo. 183. Hidden Seabed Warehouse. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Now, of course, Sabo still appears to be the Deputy Chief of Staff. It will take another 1 or 2 years of experience before he will be promoted to Chief of Staff. Boss, I think what Sabo said makes sense. Most of us are capable, even you, the leader. Just jumping into the sea like this, isn't it just a matter of being caught without a fight? Possibly, this is Zephyr and Marine, a plot to wipe us all out. A middle-aged man stood up. It seemed that he should be the Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army at this time. Yes, other Revolutionary Army cadres also agreed. Do not, however, Long resisted all opinions and jumped off the cliff without saying a word. Leader, Sabo couldn't help but screamed. Seeing this, Bai Ye had to praise, Friend Wan. You know, what Sabo and the Chief of Staff said are all reasonable, and it is very likely that this is a conspiracy between Zephyr and Marine. Long's behavior at this time is like making a big gamble. Lose the bet and lose everything. However, he dared to gamble. Perhaps, this is because of the courage of the characters. Immediately afterwards, without saying a word, Bai Ye picked up Robin and the struggling Sugar, and jumped into the sea. Hateful. Seeing this, Sabo has nothing to do. I can only take everyone and jump down together. Advertisement. However, after jumping off the cliff, Sabo and others immediately regretted it. Facing the turbulent sea, as demon fruit power, they deeply felt a sense of powerlessness. Is this the fate of eating devil fruit and being cursed by the sea? Boss, why are you doing this? There is still a long way to go for a cliff nearly 1,000 meters high to fall into the sea. At this time, the Chief of Staff of the Revolutionary Army finally couldn't bear it and questioned Long Lai. In Neo Marine, there are also a lot of demon fruit power. As far as I know, the Neo Marine cadre named Ain who has been closely following Zephyr, as a fruit power. Quote. After Zephyr jumped off the cliff, she followed immediately. If she dared to jump, why didn't I? Long gave his answer. When everyone heard the words, they suddenly realized. Indeed, there is no reason for Zephyr to sacrifice his powerful general and most of his troops in order to wipe out the Revolutionary Army, right? Bai Ye nodded silently upon hearing this. It has to be said that he and Long have the same idea. Looking at it from a distance, Zephyr, who jumped off the cliff first, is about to fall into the sea. At this moment, Zephyr suddenly raised the smasher on his right arm high. Drink. With a roar, Zephyr punched the sea with all his might. Boom. The sea water was directly blasted away, exposing the sea floor. Bins. Advertisement. Zephyr yelled. Exist. Another man following Zephyr immediately responded. Then, he stretched out his hands and threw the seeds between his fingers to the mud on the seabed. Immediately afterwards, he displayed the ability to prosper fruit, and a miraculous thing happened. The seeds fell into the mud, immediately took root and germinated, and then formed a thick explanatory wall, isolating the surrounding sea water. Everyone fell to the ground without any risk, not into the sea. As the entrance so secret. After Bai Ye landed, he immediately let out a sigh of emotion. The Power Rock is hidden in such a secret place. If Zephyr hadn't known the exact location of the Power Rock, even if he turned the entire Foz Island over with the help of the Revolutionary Army, he might not be able to find the Power Rock. Who would have thought that Power Rocks were actually hidden under the sea? At least Bai Ye didn't expect it at first. Next, Zephyr used the pulverizer on his right arm to shatter the ocean floor with a single punch. Everyone fell into an incomparably huge seabed warehouse minister with several floors. The submarine warehouse is closely guarded, and there are many elite marine soldiers in it. After spending a lot of effort to deal with the elite marine soldiers guarding the undersea warehouse, everyone successfully arrived at the bottom of the undersea warehouse. This groundhog, Vice Admiral, isn't it? Now, what do you think? When approaching the bottom of the seabed warehouse, Bai Ye couldn't help but open his mouth, teasing the Marine Vice Admiral who was held hostage by the Revolutionary Army and came to the bottom of the seabed warehouse together. According to what Zephyr called him, he was called Vice Admiral the Groundhog, so he wasn't the younger brother of Vice Admiral the Flying Squirrel. Humph. Advertisement. Groundhog Vice Admiral snorted coldly when he heard this, and threatened everyone instead. Long, Bai Ye, you dare to call the attention of the Power Rock, do you know what this means? And Teacher Zephyr, you know it best in your heart. This means that you are against the world government, and against the whole world. Enemy. World government will never just sit idly by. Long, do you think that the rebel army can jump for so long because you are strong enough? No, it is because of that lord who is willing to help your revolutionary army grow chance. Groundhog Vice Admiral, amazing words. Except for Bai Ye who looked indifferent, the faces of Long and Zephyr changed drastically when they heard the words. They naturally knew who the grown-up that Groundhog Vice Admiral was talking about was referring to. And Bai Ye looked calm. They thought it was because Bai Ye was too young and didn't know the reason of the grown-up. In fact, isn't it the so-called owner of the Void Throne, I am? How could Bai Ye not know? Although, he is indeed very mysterious, above the five elders, he is the leader of the celestial dragons, the master behind the scenes of the world government. In the whole world, there are very few people who know his existence. Even Oda Dai has not lifted his mysterious mask so far. However, as a time traveler, how could Bai Ye be the master of the so-called Void Throne? For him, at most Didi Zhao is curious. However, Zephyr and the dragon are different. After all, they are humans born and bred in this world. After living in the world dominated by IM for so long, it is only natural that they fear him. Both Zephyr and the dragon were sullen, not talking. Soon, everyone enlarged the secret room where the power rock was stored. The secret room was indeed carefully arranged, surrounded by steel and various high-tech anti-vibration, anti-humidity, anti-high temperature high-tech instruments. It looks very futuristic. It seems that the world government and marine also took great pains to preserve the dynamic rock. If it is a pirate, it is estimated that it is impossible to find this place in a lifetime, and take the power rock away. It's a pity that the world government and marine have calculated thousands of times, but they didn't. In the end, it was their own people who stole the power rock. Moreover, he is still a highly respected marine hero, FA. 184. Temporary change of mind. I want the other half of the power rock. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I finally saw that everyone was fighting to the death for the so-called Ore Power Rock. Instead of showing shock and surprise, everyone's faces were a little bit wrong. Especially Vice Admiral, the Groundhog, was even more amazed at the scene in front of him. Why? Why is the power rock half missing? Groundhog Vice Admiral muttered to himself, feeling a little broken. Yes, this place does store power rock. It's just that it's different from what they expected. Storage tanks with power rocks and cooling fluid, at least in half. The whole huge secret room seemed a little empty. What's going on? Why is half of the power rock missing? Could it be that Marine had the foresight to turn half of the power rock before we arrived? Zephyr said in disbelief. Impossible. The surprise attack we launched was so urgent, and the 7 elite Vice Admiral guards came to fight immediately. They didn't have time to transfer the power rock at all. Besides, all the warships in Marine were destroyed by us. Even if they wanted to transfer the power, where can the rock be transferred? Is there any place safer than this underground warehouse? Dekong 797. Long then spoke. What he said was indeed reasonable. Just now, a fierce battle broke out on the ground, and the Black Crow's self-destruction of 3,000 crows almost affected the entire Foz Island. If Marine wants to protect the power rock, there is really no safer place than this submarine warehouse. Advertisement. If Zephyr was not there, even if the Revolutionary Army or other pirate groups invaded, it would be difficult to find this place even if the entire Foz Island was turned over. Isn't that simple? One of the 7 Marine Vice Admirals ran away, and naturally that one ran back and moved the power rock away. And because we came too fast, he didn't have time to transfer all the power rock, so, just can transfer half of it. Bai Ye murmured. Dragon, Zephyr, and Groundhog Vice Admiral were all taken aback. That young Marine Vice Admiral, not one of my students, I don't even know him. Groundhog, say, who the hell is he? Hearing this, Zephyr grabbed his student Groundhog and questioned the identity of the young Vice Admiral who finally escaped under their cover. Dace, impossible. However, the Groundhog himself fell into confusion. We asked him to escape from Foz Island as soon as possible and go to the Marine headquarters to seek support. Why did he come back to transfer the power rock? Why did he decide to do this without authorization? At this moment, the vole finally suspects Will. This guy, why wasn't he transferred to Foz Island sooner or later? Why did he have to be transferred to Foz Island 3 days ago? Could it be that his goal is also the Power Rock, and he is in the same group as the teacher? Wrong. Soon, the groundhog denied his idea again. The teacher was very surprised by this, it didn't look like a fake. In other words, Virgo is not in the same group as them. He may know that the teacher and the others will come to steal the Power Rock. So, I decided to take advantage of this opportunity to steal the Power Rock. After thinking about all this, the marmot was sweating coldly on his forehead. Ha ha ha, groundhog, it seems that you have also been deceived. Advertisement. Seeing the bewildered look on the groundhog's face, Zephyr let go of him, laughing loudly. But if there are only half of the Power Rocks, it will be difficult to divide. Long glanced at Bai Ye and said suddenly. There's nothing wrong with it. We've already agreed at the beginning. After getting the Power Rock, half of your revolutionary army and half of our Neo-Marine. What we should pray now is that we can catch the escaped Marine Vice Admiral, and take back the other half of the Power Rock from him. If we can't get the other half of the Power Rock back, then we can only have this half of the Power Rock and divide it equally. Anyway, for the things I plan to implement, these Power Rocks in front of me are usually enough. Zephyr spoke again. Indeed, as long as he puts the Power Rock into the 3 craters at the end point, triggering a volcanic eruption, and plunging New World into a sea of flames, he can wipe out all the pirates in New World. So, he only needs a quarter of the Power Rock is enough. Dragons don't know Zephyr's plan, so naturally they don't understand. No. As agreed, our revolutionary army needs half of the Power Rocks, and half of the Power Rocks. Long said decisively. He doesn't want to wipe out all the pirates. What he wants to fight is the world government. A quarter of the Power Rock is not enough for him. Hearing this, Zephyr's face suddenly became gloomy. Just when he was about to get angry, Bai Ye spoke. Dragon, I suddenly changed my mind, and I don't want the intelligence resources of the revolutionary army anymore. How about this? Half of the Power Rock, you and Zephyr will share it, and the half of the Power Rock that was transferred will belong to me. How? As he said that, Bai Ye added. Anyway, it's not certain whether the half of the Power Rock can be retrieved. My proposal is beneficial to both you and Zephyr. Advertisement. How can? Zephyr became angry when he heard this. Why do you want to take half of the Power Rock? According to our previous agreement, you don't have any share of the Power Rock at all. Since Long wants half of the Power Rock no matter what, the half of the Power Rock that was transferred will belong to him. And this half of the Power Rock belongs to this old man. Zephyr said, clenched his mechanical right arm, showing his tough attitude. Why, hey, just because the Marine Vice Admiral who escaped has brought a large number of Marines back, you don't have time to leisurely look for the other half of the Power Rock. Bai Ye sneered and said. What did you say? Hearing this, Zephyr wanted to reprimand Bai Ye for not talking nonsense. But in the next second, his expression changed. Because after Bai Ye's reminder, he increased his observation hockey, and finally found the presence of a large group of people on the sea, rushing here at an extremely fast speed. There are at least 1,000 people in this big team. Of course, the number of people is not the key. The point is, he can feel that among the thousands of people, all of them are elites among the elites. Among them, there are at least 3 Admiral-level combat powers. Marine Admiral is here too. The dragon's complexion suddenly changed. He also obviously sensed the aura of the large group of people who were coming. That's right, what they stole is not ordinary things, but Power Rocks that are said to be more dangerous than ancient weapons. 185. Zephyr's mistake. Bai Ye is unexpectedly powerful. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After learning this news, Marine will definitely send a large number of elites to hunt them down. In the original book, not even the newly appointed Marine Admiral Akainu was dispatched, as well as Kizaru, and, Fist Bones, Garp. Damn it, first didn't expect Marine to come so soon. We really shouldn't let that Marine Vice Admiral go. Long said with a sullen face. So, your revolutionary army and Neo-Marine have a large number of people, and it will be too late if you don't hurry up and leave here with the Power Rock. Unless, you want to be captured by Marine with the Power Rock. Bai Ye said nonchalantly. No, half of the Power Rock is not enough, unless the revolutionary army is willing to take only a quarter of the Power Rock. Zephyr spoke up. As promised, if the revolutionary army wants half of the Power Rock, it needs half to half. Long's attitude is very firm, there is not even a little room for negotiation. Seeing that Long's attitude was so determined, Zephyr had no choice but to think about it, and said, well, let's divide this half of the Power Rock first, and then we will find the other half of the Power Rock together, and then share equally. Quote. This proposal can be had. After a little thought, Long agreed to Zephyr's proposal. Hey, forget about me. The other half of the Power Rock is mine. Bai Ye said in a very solemn tone. Shut up. The Power Rock has never been your share from the very beginning. I see you, kid, you are here to make trouble. Zephyr was furious when he heard this. Indeed. However, I changed my mind. I decided to take half of the Power Rock. Of course, you can take the half of the power rock directly, or I will beat you both to the ground and take away all the power rock yan. As for you, you will be captured by the marine who rushed over. Bai Ye said unreasonably. You kid is really making trouble on purpose. Advertisement. Hearing this, Zephyr couldn't bear it anymore. Yellow-mouthed boy, you dare to speak out. Do you think that you will be invincible after defeating a few admirals during the Summit War? Well, if that's the case, then let this old man teach you what it means to have a sky beyond the sky, and someone beyond people. Zephyr really had a violent temper. Before he could finish his sentence, he swung his mechanical right arm and rushed towards Bai Ye, then punched him hard on the head. During the Summit War, he was busy building Neo Marine, so he didn't watch this world-famous war in person. He has only heard of Bai Ye, who became famous in the Summit War and was hailed as the strongest demon in the new era by the world. But never saw his true strength. Acting with him this time, he has seen Bai Ye make a move with his own eyes, and feels that his strength is nothing more than that, exaggerated by the world. As a former marine hero, he has taught outstanding students such as Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji. Naturally, by himself, it is more than enough to clean up Bai Ye. However, he was wrong. Too slow, too weak. Zephyr, you are old after all. Bai Ye's voice sounded leisurely when Zephyr's fist hit his head. Upon hearing this, Zephyr's pupils shrank instantly. Because he clearly saw that his mechanical fist did not hit Bai Ye's face, but was blocked by Bai Ye with a finger. Impossible. It's impossible. For a split second, panic welled up in Zephyr's heart. But no matter how unwilling he is to believe it, the truth is the truth. Iron Dragon Slayer Magic. The iron hooves of the Iron Dragon. Bai Ye smiled coldly, and performed a new move that he had learned as his proficiency in Iron Dragon Slayer magic improved. Immediately, in Zephyr's eyes, Bai Ye suddenly turned into a giant steel dragon hundreds of meters tall. In front of the giant steel dragon, he is so weak. Immediately afterwards, the giant iron dragon slapped him with a palm. Advertisement. Boom. There was a loud bang. Zephyr flew upside down like a kite with a broken string. Wow. Zephyr spat out a mouthful of blood. Until he was knocked into the air, he still couldn't believe what happened before his eyes. Suddenly, Zephyr thought of a word. Demon. He is a devil. Only demons can be so powerful. Until this moment, Zephyr finally recalled, a year ago, the fear of being dominated by the demons of the new era. How can that be? Seeing this, the indifferent dragon couldn't help but twitch his eyes. Isn't he demon fruit power? Since it is demon fruit power, why is he not afraid of Zephyr's mechanical right arm grinder? You know, the grinder is equipped with a sea stone that restrains demon fruit power. 0 for flowers. Long suddenly felt that he had always underestimated Bai Ye before. Compared to him, Bai Ye is the real mysterious existence. At this time, Bai Ye also realized that he seemed to reveal that he was not the secret of Devil Fruit's ability. However, it doesn't matter. Bai Ye knew that Long would not spread his secret around. After all, he is a dragon. Snapped. Zephyr fell heavily on the ground, the steel floor, and was immediately smashed into a deep hole by him. Advertisement. Fortunately, his strong physique was not a display, and he just helped him resist Bai Ye's blow, but suffered a little serious injury. Of course, there is also a reason why Bai Ye is only half as strong now. If it is a full blow, with Zephyr's aging body, it is impossible to hold it at all. 0.00. Teacher. Only then did Ain and Bins react, and rushed towards their teacher. Ain, who respected Zephyr very much, gritted his teeth with hatred when he saw Zephyr was seriously injured. Bai Ye. Yin yelled, pulled out the double knives at her waist, and rushed towards Bai Ye, apparently wanting to avenge her teacher. Unfortunately, before she could reach Bai Ye, her legs suddenly softened and she knelt down. The double knives in his hands also rolled directly to the ground. What is this? Steel, a dragon. Approaching the front and back of Bai Ye, Ain finally saw the giant steel dragon behind Bai Ye clearly. Just her courage, she was completely unable to move. A tremor rising from her soul made her lose her fighting spirit in an instant. How can a human being fight against a steel dragon? That is completely impossible to have any chance of winning. Now, she finally knew how their teacher, Zephyr, was defeated so thoroughly by Bai Ye. Not because their teacher is old, but because Bai Ye is too powerful. Too strong. What about you, Long? Do you have any objection to my sudden change of mind? After suppressing Yin with the aura of Dragon Slayer magic, Bai Ye's eyes fell on the dragon just now. I have no opinion. The dragon opened his mouth. 186. Marine, came, Zephyr reluctantly compromised. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I have no opinion. The dragon said, after all, you told me about it last night. That's good. Then, the other half of the power rock belongs to me. As for the half of the power rock, you can take it away. Although it is true that half of the power rock is divided equally between the two of you, there is no way. I advise you to don't fight for it, instead, let Marine reap the benefits. Half of the power rocks are indeed a little less, but you can use them together, I think it's enough. As Bai Ye said, he even kindly persuaded Long and Zephyr to come. Hearing this, Zephyr felt extremely dissatisfied, but as Bai Ye's defeated opponent, what else could he say? Looking at the dragon again, his attitude is still so resolute. In other words, the Revolutionary Army is expected to take over this half of the Power Rock. And there nay, 247, oh Marine, if they want Power Rocks, they can only continue to cooperate with the Revolutionary Army. This is a completely passive situation that Zephyr is extremely unwilling to see, but what can he do? He underestimated the enemy and underestimated Bai Ye too much, and was seriously injured by Bai Ye's blow. Neo's only pillar is him. With his current serious injury, he is not qualified to fight against the dragon at all, let alone Bai Ye. If he doesn't agree with Long's arrangement, Long probably will take away all the Power Rocks on site without saying a word, and none of them will be left to Neo Marine. With Ain and bins of Neo Marine, not to mention dragons, they probably couldn't beat several cadres of the Revolutionary Army. At that time, he will only end up stealing chickens and losing money, and in the end, he will get nothing. Sure enough, just as Zephyr thought of this, the dragon spoke up. Share it, it's okay, but this half of the Power Rock has to be kept by our Revolutionary Army. Long's tone was very strong. Advertisement. This half of the Power Rock is yours, and how you arrange it is your business. But I believe that Zephyr should not object, right? Bai Ye said, looking at Zephyr with a sneer. But if Zephyr is a little bit reluctant, he doesn't mind, just clean up this troublesome guy here. Feeling the threat from Bai Ye, Zephyr naturally gritted his teeth with hatred, and even wanted to stand up and fight Bai Ye. He believed that he just underestimated the enemy and didn't use all his strength, so Bai Ye succeeded. As long as he is desperate and unleashes his full strength, even Bai Ye may not be able to defeat him. After all, both he and Garp are marine heroes. In terms of strength, he feels that he is not inferior to Garp, even if he is inferior, he is not much worse. Zephyr has some brains after all. Thinking that Marine has already arrived, and now they are fighting to the death, the Marine who came later will only take advantage of the fisherman's profit and catch them all, but he can't bear the anger. It is necessary to get rid of the threat of Bai Ye. But at least, it shouldn't be now. Thinking that there would be opportunities to get rid of Bai Ye in the future, Zephyr was extremely unwilling, and finally chose to compromise. I have nothing to object to. Marshal Long is a man of integrity. He said that if the Power Rock Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine are shared together, they will never take it for themselves. The old man believes him. Zephyr made an excuse for himself, said. Long heard the words and sneered. In this way, even if he wants to share the Power Rock with Neo Marine, he can't do it. Zephyr is indeed a cunning old fox. However, also because of the Power Rock, the Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine are tightly bound together. Time is running out, Marine is coming, let's take the Power Rock and leave here. Long said, looking at Bai Ye. Bai Ye, you really plan to stay and continue to look for the other half that was transferred Power Rock? Of course. This is what I got in exchange for rejecting such a good offer from the Revolutionary Army. No matter what, you have to find the other half of the Power Rock, right? Bai Ye said very easily. Advertisement. Really? Well, you're not careful yourself. After Long finished speaking, he stopped talking nonsense, and immediately organized the troops of the Revolutionary Army to move the huge container containing the Power Rock from the scene. As for Neo Marine, they can only watch from the sidelines. Soon, the Power Rock was emptied, and the Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine personnel also left one after another. Finally, in the empty room, only Bai Ye, Robin, and Granu were left. Now, then, we should go and retrieve the other half of the Power Rock. Bai Ye seems to be talking to himself, and it seems to be speaking to Robin and Sugar behind him. 0. Get it back. How to get it back? Robin was a little confused when he heard this. Since someone moved the Power Rocks away in advance, they must have found a hidden place to hide them again. The entire Foz Island is so big, with the 3 of them, how long will it take to find it? If the Power Rock is directly exposed to the air, then perhaps Bai Ye's advanced observation hockey, Sky Dragon killing magic, will play a role. By detecting the powerful energy emitted by the Power Rock, you can perceive where is it hidden. But as they can see, the dynamic rock is sealed in a closed container with cooling water. No matter how advanced Bai Ye's observation hockey is, it's impossible to feel it, right? Bai Ye didn't seem to be worried about this at all. Don't worry, someone will tell us. Bai Ye said, looking at Granu. Granulated sugar. Advertisement. As a result, Robin was even more confused by Bai Ye. Sugar is more confused than Robin. Don't look at me, Sugar, I don't know anything. Granu shook his little head vigorously, and said. The bear's hood is about to be thrown out, it looks really cute. I didn't say you knew, what do you little girl know? Bai Ye responded to 4.3. Me, little girl liar. You are the liar, Bai Ye is a super invincible liar. Sugar puffed. Well, Xiao Tang, the little girl's film doesn't mean that you are a liar, but. Forget it. Robin wanted to explain, but thinking about the age of the sugar, forget it. Could it be that if a person looks like a 10-year-old child, his thoughts will also stay around 10 years old? How did I become a super invincible liar? I never lied to you. Bai Ye said casually, but in reality, he was thinking about another thing. Isn't it here yet? It should be here. Why didn't you lie to me? At least you said you would take us to the hot spring, but you didn't take us there. Granos thought for a moment before retorting. 187. The so-called marine is Beast's Pirates. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I didn't say that. I'll take you guys after dealing with the matter here. Bai Ye's words are not finished yet. Outside, footsteps and voices suddenly sounded. Hey, Bai Ye, I didn't expect you to be so stupid. Knowing that there is a marine coming, but still ordering the Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine. From Laozi's point of view, you are a power rock who wants to monopolize the other half. Crazy. Goo. Kaido of the beasts clapped their hands, walked in from another door, and appeared in front of Bai Ye. A large group of people followed behind him, most of them were cadres of the beasts' pirates. Of course, Virgo, who had escaped before, also followed Kaido. Kaido looked a little excited and proud, and of course, there was a trace of madness on his face. Bai Ye, you would never have imagined that, right? The person who came here was not Marine, but Laozi, Kaido of the beasts. The Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine are gone now, and it's too late for you to call them back. Bai Ye, today is your death day. Ooh. The other side. Long led the men and horses to leave the undersea warehouse, and he had been thinking all the way. It seems that the agreement to Bai Ye's 30 conditions last night was indeed correct. As expected, in the end, Zephyr had no choice but to compromise and continue to cooperate with the Revolutionary Army. Yes, all of this was actually discussed by Bai Ye and Long last night. Bai Ye changed his mind temporarily. He decided not to use the intelligence resources of the Revolutionary Army. He wanted the 10.5 power rocks belonging to Neo Marine. In return for breaking the contract temporarily, Bai Ye promised Long that he would give Long a gift. That is, he will find a way to make Zephyr and Neo Marine have to submit to the Revolutionary Army. To Bai Ye's surprise, Long agreed immediately without hesitation after listening to his words. Long's reason is very simple. First, the half of the power rock that Bai Ye wants to leave was originally agreed to be distributed to Neo Marine. For their Revolutionary Army, there is no loss at all. Advertisement. Secondly, Bai Ye gave him a big gift. From now on, the Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine will be a closely bound community of destiny. I believe that when the Revolutionary Army and the world government clash in the future, Zephyr is still willing to lead Neo Marine to help the Revolutionary Army. After all, if Zephyr wants to implement his great ultimate plan, he must rely on the power of Power Rock. As for Zephyr's great ultimate plan, Bai Ye also told the dragon truthfully. Long is not stupid and knows the reason why Bai Ye told him the truth. It's nothing more than wanting him to contain Zephyr and let the Revolutionary Army contain Neo Marine. No way, it was his own decision to join forces with Zephyr to steal the Power Rock. Since this decision was made, it is natural to deal with the aftermath of the problems brought about by this decision. In fact, this is the key to Long finally making up his mind to cooperate with Bai Ye and cheat Zephyr. Bai Ye, I hope you will not disappoint my expectations of you. Long also considered whether Bai Ye would mess with the Power Rock, but in the end, he chose to believe in Bai Ye. What Long didn't know was that his decision ushered in a turning point in the fate of the Revolutionary Army. Undersea warehouse. Kaido, Robin and the second daughter, Sugar, saw the tall Kaido appearing in front of them, and their faces showed horror. In front of this huge monster, they looked so weak. On the contrary, it was Bai Ye, who seemed to have guessed that the visitor was Kaido, instead of showing the slightest panic. On the contrary, a sneer flashed across his eyes. Advertisement. Of course, it was just a flash, and no one noticed, including Kaido. It turns out that you are the so-called Marine. Bai Ye pretended to be surprised. It's just that even a 3-year-old child can tell that this pretended surprise is a fake. Seeing that Bai Ye didn't panic at all when he saw him, Kaido vaguely felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't say it out. HMPH, Bai Ye, stop pretending. 3 days ago, in the territory of the Whitebeard Pirates, lucky you, Laozi didn't kill you, but not this time. Kaido snorted coldly. Bai Ye, today is your death day next year. Oh, really? Then I'm so scared. Bai Ye pretended to be very scared. However, how do I remember that it wasn't my luck at the time, but you, Kaido, who were scared away by me and ran away? Bai Ye sneered. Bai Ye's words hit the nail on the head. Kaido's complexion changed immediately, and the members of the Beast's Pirates behind him also showed expressions of disbelief when they heard the words. At this moment, they recalled again that Kaido seemed a bit embarrassed when he returned to the Beast's Pirates that day. Shut up. Kaido was immediately enraged. Advertisement. How could his subordinates know about what happened in the wasteland? Kaido didn't want his image of being mighty, strongest, and invincible, which he had maintained for decades, to collapse in an instant. The only way is to kill Bai Ye to silence him. So, no matter what, this time, Bai Ye is dead. Bai Ye, don't think that Laozi doesn't know. The overpowering moves you used to force the 3 of us back must have put a huge load on your body, right? Now, what percentage of your strength is left? 20%? 30%? Kaido snorted coldly. Oh, unexpectedly, you even know this. Bai Ye looked very scared, but then his tone changed. But, so what? 30% of your strength is more than enough to deal with a bug like you. Yes. Of course Kaido didn't believe it. As a powerhouse at the level of the Emperor of the Sea, he could clearly feel that Bai Ye was indeed not as strong as Sanshin, and could bring him a sense of arrogance and oppression. That is to say, this time, even if he doesn't need to join forces with Big Mom and Green Bull, he can still get rid of Bai Ye. Of course, to be on the safe side, he followed Doflamingo's advice and brought all the members of the Beast's Pirates with him. Yes, the one behind Kaido is the real Beast's Pirates. Not only the 6 volleyball sons, but also Flame Calamity Jin and Plague Calamity Quinn, who was seriously injured and bandaged all over his body. Foo 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 foo. A weird laugh sounded out. Bai Ye, long time no see, Bai Ye. No, it hasn't been long, at most, 2.5 days. At the same time, out of the crowd, a guy with an extremely arrogant walking posture and a figure of Sightgate came out. It was Doflamingo. 188. Bai Ye, Kaido, don't you want to fight me at the bottom of the sea? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. At this time, Doflamingo was not much better than Plague Quinn, with a white bandage wrapped around his head. But even so, he still couldn't hide his arrogance. Doflamingo. Seeing this, Robin couldn't help crying. How is it possible? She clearly saw Doflamingo being dealt with by Bai Ye's Red Lotus explosive flame blade with her own eyes, and she told Granu the same. But now, Doflamingo appeared in front of her so vividly, this is impossible. Could it be that day in Night Mist? Robin couldn't believe it. Little Lord. Granu also called out. Even though the 2 days with Bai Ye and Robin seemed to be going well, she was in Cao Ying and her heart was in Han. Young master. Me. Granu wanted to rush towards Doflamingo excitedly, but Bai Ye grabbed the bear's hat and pulled him back. The centipede is dead but not stiff. Doflamingo, it's about you. Seeing Doflamingo, Bai Ye didn't seem so surprised. I'll take it as your compliment to me, Bai Ye. Hearing this, Doflamingo, instead of being angry, just looked at Bai Ye with mocking eyes. Now, Bai Ye, you should be clear about what kind of situation you are in, right? He. Kaido finally spoke again. Advertisement. Of course. The Marine Vice Admiral, if my guess is correct, must be the spy that Doflamingo planted inside the Marine early in the morning, the Ghost Bamboo, Virgo among the 4 senior cadres of the Don Quixote family. If you know Virgo, you can tell. It is estimated that before Granos joined the Don Quixote family, he was sent to Marine as an undercover agent. That is, he moved half of the power rock away. As for why you also appear here, it's very simple. Doflamingo must have used the power rock in my life to persuade you to lead the Beast's Pirates out, just to destroy me. Bai Ye said lightly. He said it so easily, as if it had nothing to do with him. However, people who listened, such as Robin, did become more frightened the more they listened. It turned out that they fell into a carefully arranged net. But now, the Revolutionary Army and Neo Marine, which may bring accidents and troubles, have left, and it is time to close the net. Robin couldn't help but worry. She knew that Bai Ye was indeed very powerful, even if he alone dealt with Kaido, Big Mom and Green Bull, he would still be invincible, and even scared them away. But it's different now. Firstly, Bai Ye's strength has not fully recovered. Secondly, Beast's Pirates cannot be underestimated. Regardless of the many super powerful Zone Fruit ability users, including real fighters and serial number players, etc., even if they are Volley 6 sons, their strength is said to be worthy of admiral candidates. In addition to the 6 volleys, there are 3 disasters. Cough cough. Well, although the drought disaster Jack among the 3 disasters has been solved by Bai Ye, the phlegm disaster Quinn was also severely injured by Yu Yi. But so what? Among the 3 disasters, the most powerful Yan disaster, Jin, claims to have the strength of the Emperor's assistant level. Some people even say that his strength is only 1 step away from the level of the Emperor of the Sea. There are so many real fighters and numbered players, plus the 6 volleys, how to say, they are all worthy of a Sea Emperor. Jin is only half a Sea Emperor. In this way, what Bai Ye has to face now is 2.5 Sea Emperors. It is not much different from the situation when dealing with Kaido, Big Mom, and Livenyu. The only difference is that Bai Ye can attack one by one, which can be used to advantage. Advertisement. But don't forget, besides the Beast's Pirates, now there is another Doflamingo, and his subordinate, Ghost Bamboo, Virgo. Moreover, Virgo, as Doflamingo's spy in Marine, must have developed many cronies over the years. Even if those cronies are not counted, the 2 of them are equally a big threat. The current situation is not too bad for Bai Ye. So, when Robin heard from Bai Ye that all this was a conspiracy by Doflamingo and Kaido, she would be so shocked. It's okay, I'm here. Bai Ye just patted Robin on the shoulder lightly, indicating that she doesn't have to worry, he is here. Heh. As expected of Bai Ye, he is really shrewd, he guessed everything right. Kaido couldn't help applauding Bai Ye. But the applause soon stopped abruptly. However, no matter how smart you are, you can't guess our appearance, right? Kaido shouted again. Bai Ye, today is your death day. On the face of it, that is indeed the case. Bai Ye himself admits it. According to the current situation, he really has no chance of winning. However, you can't look at the surface of everything. Immediately afterwards, Bai Ye added another sentence. Advertisement. Still talking hard. Kaido sneered when he heard this. The people he brought in were only a small part of the beast's pirates. It can be said that outside, the entire Foz Island was surrounded by the beast's pirates' ships. Bai Ye now has no way to go to heaven and no way to go to earth. To put it bluntly, even if Bai Ye has grown wings now, the thousands of cannons on the beast's pirates' ship can still knock him down. It doesn't matter if you are stubborn or not. Kaido, you don't want to fight me under the sea, do you? Bai Ye said suddenly. No matter how stupid Kaido is, he can understand what he said. Both of them have the combat power of the Emperor of the Sea, and it is not easy to destroy a mere submarine warehouse. Even if Wang Lihao is stopped, selfishness cannot be stopped. Once the submarine warehouse is completely destroyed, seawater will pour in immediately. At that time, Bai Ye is not a capable person, so it doesn't matter, but Kaido and the others will come differently. He and the people he brings are all demon fruit power. To be honest, in order to make the beast's pirates stronger, the world was afraid of the beast's pirates and frightened. Beast's pirates only recruit demon fruit power, and almost everyone in beast's pirates has Eden Zone's demon fruit power, only a few lifeguards, not demon fruit power. Therefore, if a fierce battle broke out on the bottom of the sea, the side that suffered the most losses would definitely be Kaido's side. Thinking of this, Kaido's face suddenly became serious. So, what do you suggest, Bai Ye? Kaido asked. 189. Foz Island surrounded by beast's pirates' ships. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Kaido realizes that he made a big mistake. He was now afraid that Bai Ye would fight him at the bottom of the sea no matter what. In this way, he was being misled by his cleverness. He wanted to bring someone down to give Bai Ye a blow, but he didn't expect that he would become a shackle instead. However, Kaido thinks that Bai Ye should not do this, and he still thinks that Bai Ye is a person with abilities. Moreover, Kaido believes that even if Bai Ye doesn't think about himself, he has to think about Robin beside him, isn't it? As far as he knew, the relationship between Robin and Bai Ye was very close. Of course, I suggest to fight on the surface of the sea. Of course, I didn't want to escape for the convenience, but I just didn't want to destroy the warehouse under the sea after defeating you. Put yourself in danger too. Bai Ye said, still so calm and calm. Yes, in this regard, Kaido also does not think that Bai Ye can escape. You know, the entire Foz Island is surrounded by the ships of beast's pirates, and Bai Ye is unable to fly. You are still so confident in yourself. Okay, let's go up and fight again. Kaido agreed with Bai Ye's suggestion. 667. Just like that, a group of people took the elevator in the undersea warehouse, and it didn't take long to reach the surface of the sea. Seeing the densely packed ships on the sea, Robin's pupils immediately contracted. Kaido did not lie. This time, in order to deal with Bai Ye, in order to completely eliminate him, the beast's pirates came out in full force. The entire Foz Island was surrounded by the ships of beast's pirates. Advertisement. It can be said that even a fly jumped out of Fugan Island. It is naturally impossible to escape from the air. Over the years, Kaido has cooperated with Doflamingo and other emperors of the underground world, and has also vigorously developed the military industry. Beast's pirates are equipped with the most advanced cannons. Even if a birdman wants to escape from the sky, they can bombard him down without any mistakes. One or two shells may not be of much use to a strong man like Bai Ye, but thousands of shells are not necessarily so. Moreover, many of those shells are special, seastone shells specially used to target capable users. Even if Bai Ye can dodge with the speed of Thunder Dragon Slayer magic, he still has to consider Robin in his arms. So, the current situation is that Bai Ye has no choice but to fight Kaido. Of course, Kaido will not be one-on-one with Bai Ye. At the beginning, in the territory of the Whitebeard Pirates, they couldn't beat 3 against 1. The current Kaido is not going to be big. Besides, whether there are outsiders here, even if the beast's pirates come out to deal with Bai Ye together, as long as Bai Ye can be taken down, Kaido doesn't care at all. Winners and losers are never determined by a single fight. Soon, everyone used their abilities and came to Foz Island from the sea. On Foz Island, there were several marines dressed up early in the morning, but judging from the scars on their faces and their ferocious appearance, it was obvious that they were fake marines, waiting. Master Virgo. Many. Master Doflamingo. Advertisement. As soon as everyone arrived at Foz Island, those marines greeted Virgo and Doflamingo respectfully. Obviously, it was the cronies arranged by Virgo. It was they who assisted Wei to transfer half of the power rock from the submarine warehouse. Doflamingo and Virgo, have all the power rocks been transferred to the beast's pirates' ships? Kaido asked immediately. Several marines forgot to take a look at Virgo, and when they saw him nodding, they replied truthfully. Yes, according to Lord Virgo's instructions, the power rocks have been transported to the ships of the beast's pirates. When Kaido heard this, Da laughed in satisfaction. Hey, Doflamingo, Lousy really didn't trust you wrongly. Lousy was worried that you are too ambitious. You won't hand over such precious motivation so easily. As for Yan, it seems that Lousy misjudged you, Doflamingo. It seems that your ambition is nothing more than that, Doflamingo. Kaido said, and added a sentence. That's my ambition. Now it's not attached to you, Kaido-sama. Doflamingo breathed out in a low voice, as if he had become Kaido's dogleg. Very well, Doflamingo, I am very satisfied with your answer. Maybe, you guy, can play a little role in Beast's Pirates in the future. Kaido humiliated Doflamingo again. Of course, he himself didn't think it was a humiliation, but gave Doflamingo enough face. Thank you, Kaido-sama. Doflamingo is also completely a dog's leg. Advertisement. Perhaps, he felt that as long as he could avenge Bai Ye, he would be willing to become Kaido's henchman. Heavenly Yaksha, the emperor of the dark underground world, has fallen into this state. Kaido laughed and turned his gaze to Bai Ye. Bai Ye, have you seen it? The entire Foz Island has been surrounded by ships from the Beast's Pirates. You can't fly even if you have wings. You have no other way to go except dead end. Cluck cluck. This is not over yet, Kaido then said. Also, the power rock you have been thinking about has also fallen into Lousy's hands. Now, what else do you have to say? The plan succeeded, and Kaido is not to mention how proud he is. With Bai Ye's current strength, Kaido is not afraid of him at all, even if he can't deal with him alone, plus the entire Beast's Pirates, Doflamingo, and Virgo, can't they still be able to deal with him? If that doesn't work, use power rocks. Even if a lot of power rocks were wasted, he must be buried on Foz Island. Kaido thought so. It seems that he is determined to put Bai Ye to death. Speaking of his hatred for Bai Ye, it was actually not that deep. At best, Bai Ye was the weakest of the three capable men who killed him, Drought Jack. But was there such a thing as the replacement of old and new members before? If one of the three disasters dies, the other will be on top. It just so happened that among the 6 volleys, there was a guy whose strength was not weaker than Drought Jack, not even weaker than Plague Quinn. That's right, Foz Fur of the 6 volleys. It is only because Foz Fu, Jin, and Quinn are at odds, and for the sake of internal stability, Kaido will promote Jack to become the big Kanban, that is, the 3 disasters not Foz Fu. 190. Doflamingo's Rebellion. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In other words, the death of Drought Jack is actually not something worthy of anger for Kaido at all. Jack is dead, and the people below are on top. Bai Ye ruined his plan to attack the Fishmen Island, although it was also a reason, but it was not enough to make him hate Bai Ye to the bone. What really made Kaido hate Bai Ye was what happened later. He led dozens of pirate groups under the Beast's Pirates to attack the Whitebeard Pirate group. As a result, he had to abandon everyone and flee alone all day and night. This incident made Kaido lose face. He didn't want his subordinates to know that he was scared by Bai Ye and ran away. And to let others never know about this matter, only by personally killing Bai Ye, the culprit, will others shut up. Even if the Whitebeard Pirates spread the word, no one would believe it. After all, Bai Ye died at his hands. How could others believe what the Whitebeard Pirates said, that he was scared by Bai Ye and fled? It is precisely because of this that no matter what, no matter how much Kaido pays this time, he will let Bai Ye die. What can I say? Even if the matter has come to this, Bai Ye's face is still as calm as ever, and there is even a sneer of unknown meaning at the corner of his mouth. In that case, you should die for lousy, Bai Ye. Seeing that Bai Ye could still laugh at this time, Kaido became furious and shouted angrily. It's not certain who will die. Bai Ye's complexion suddenly changed, and became very severe. Advertisement. He tossed the sugar to Robin, held her behind him, and motioned her to back away. Although Robin didn't know what Bai Ye's plan was, he still obediently took the sugar and retreated. Foz Fur. Kaido gave an order, and Foz, who had 6 volleys in the air, knew it and rushed towards Robin at a very fast speed. And Kaido himself, in the form of a half-dragon, wielded a mace made of a special material, and threw it at Bai Ye. It seems that Kaido does not intend to let Bai Ye and the people around him go. Little girl, if you want to blame you for not following Bai Ye. He. While laughing, Kaido cast Thunder 8 trigrams and smashed it down on Bai Ye's head. Bai Ye couldn't take care of himself, so he couldn't save Robin. However, even so, day and night are still not satisfied at all. Seeing that, Foz Fur, who turned into a saber-toothed tiger, was about to take Robin down. Doflamingo. At this moment, Bai Ye suddenly called Doflamingo's name. Fu. Doflamingo sneered. In the next second, what happened was beyond everyone's expectations. I saw that Doflamingo pulled out 10 5-color strings with both hands, and then slashed forward fiercely. Don't underestimate these thin, nearly transparent 5-color strings, their sharpness is no less than that of ordinary sharp knives. Advertisement. However, the person Doflamingo slashed this time was not Bai Ye who made him hate to the bone, but Foz Fur who turned into a saber-toothed tiger. Doflamingo betrayed Kaido in public. What? Foz Fu was taken aback. He wanted to fulfill Kaido's order and take Robin by force before the 5-color strings came. It's a pity that he underestimated Doflamingo's strength too much. He thought he could withstand Doflamingo's 5-color strings, but he didn't. Pooh! When the sharp claws of the saber-toothed tiger were about to grab Robin and cut the delicate beauty into several sections, 5-color strings stood directly on the saber-toothed tiger. Roar! The saber-toothed tiger let out a roar, and Foz, who felt the sharp pain in his heart, felt the threat of his life. If he still insists on going his own way, then there is only one fate waiting for him, and that is to be cut into pieces by the 5-color strings before he succeeds. Damn Doflamingo, he awakened his fruit ability when he came up. Foz cursed loudly, and before the 5-color strings could do more damage to his muscular body, he quickly took advantage of the saber-toothed tiger's sensitive posture and jumped away. It is also because he made the most correct choice at the critical moment, so, his fate was saved. It's just that the wound on his body cut open by the 5-color strings is constantly spitting out blood, and it seems that it won't be able to stop for a while. You, young master. Wow. .0 for flowers. Being rescued by Doflamingo, not to mention how touched Sato was, and even so moved that he burst into tears. Although, she knew that her mind was in a mess now, and she didn't understand why her young master would suddenly follow Bai Ye's order. Little Lord. Advertisement. Virgo, a senior cadre of the Don Quixote family, was also taken aback. He doesn't understand why Doflamingo suddenly rebelled. That's right, Doflamingo didn't even tell his most trusted cadres about this matter. After all, Doflamingo is famous for his deep scheming. Doflamingo. On this side, Kaido, who was fighting Bai Ye, was furious because of Kaido's betrayal. With his roar, the entire Foz Island was shaken, and waves were also set off on the sea. I'm sorry Kaido, the so-called one who knows the current affairs as a hero, this time, I choose to stand by Bai Ye's side. Foo. Doflamingo said, sneering. At the same time, in his mind, he recalled the few words that Bai Ye whispered in his ear 3 days ago in Derice Rose's palace, before Bai Ye cast the Red Lotus explosive flame blade, which made him turn pale with shock. Bai Ye said that he had decided not to kill him, and he wanted him to do one thing for him, which was to pretend to escape from death, and then trick Kaido to Foz Island. He intends to wipe out the entire Beast's pirates on Foz Island. No wonder Doflamingo was so intimidated in the first place. That is Kaido, who is known as the strongest creature in the sea, land and air. Moreover, Bai Ye not only wants to kill Kaido, but also kills the entire Beast's pirates. This is something that Doflamingo never expected. One must know that Captain Kaido is naturally one reason why the Beast's pirates are strong, but the more important reason is that there are many powerful members in the Beast's pirates. Among them, Flame Calamity Jin is one. In addition to the Flame Calamity Jin, there is also the Plague Calamity Quinn, and the Drought Calamity Jack that has been resolved by Bai Ye is not included. However, in addition to the 3 disasters, there are also 6 volleys, numberers, real fights and so on. It can be said that Beast's Pirates is an army of Zone Demon Fruit power. 191. Beast's Pirates Shipwreck. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Bai Ye actually wanted to catch them all and kill them all. If the person who said this was not Bai Ye, the strongest demon in the new era, Kaido almost thought he was crazy. Bai Ye didn't give Doflamingo a chance to refuse, of course, he also believed that Doflamingo dared not refuse. Because of the power of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade, Doflamingo really felt it. This move, if Bai Ye didn't deliberately hit it wrong, but really hit Doflamingo, let alone survived, the whole person would be blown to scum, not even ashes left. Afterwards, Doflamingo was arrested by Violet and locked up in the dungeon. For 2 whole days, he was in fear of the Red Lotus explosive flame blade. It is precisely because Bai Ye spared the life of Doflamingo, and wanted to use him to drive Kaido and Beast's pirates to extinction, it is easy to understand why Bai Ye wanted to keep a member of the 507 Quixote family. Not only to keep them for future use, but most importantly, to threaten Doflamingo. No matter how cruel, cold-blooded, and ruthless Doflamingo is, he doesn't care about the lives of his loyal family members. If he wants to save the lives of Toribel and others, the only way is to obey Bai Ye's order. Bai Ye is a real demon, a member of the Don Quixote family. If there is no use for him, he will definitely drive them out without hesitation. Indeed, Doflamingo made a decision that would not be disturbed by a few family members. But in the end, he chose to submit to Bai Ye. No way, in this contest between Bai Ye and Kaido, Doflamingo can only choose to stand in line. No matter which side he is on, as long as he is on the wrong side, he will only have a dead end. But my intuition told Doflamingo that standing on Bai Ye's side was the most correct choice. Sure enough, Laozi vaguely felt that something was wrong. With such great ambitions, why did you choose to cooperate with Laozi and give up all the precious power rocks to me just to deal with Bai Ye? It turns out that this is just Bai Ye and the trap you set. At this time, Kaido finally noticed something was wrong. He always thought that Doflamingo didn't have the courage to betray him, but he forgot, what if Bai Ye got in the way? Advertisement. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, the power rock Laozi has already been obtained. Big deal, I will bury you, a traitor, together with Bai Ye, on Foz Island. As Kaido said, after a thunderclap, 8 trigrams forced Bai Ye back, jumped high into the air, and gave orders to the ships of the beast's pirates in the distance. Gunner, listen to my orders and blast Bai Ye and the traitor Doflamingo into scum. This was Kaido's original final plan. He was worried that even so, he would not be able to deal with Bai Ye, so he reserved a second hand. That is, use the newly acquired, powerful power rocks, and use them as shells to bury Bai Ye and the entire Foz Island. Yes, the people on the ship received orders from the Captain Kaido and immediately began to fill the power rock. Fufu. Doflamingo couldn't help laughing out loud when he heard this. Kaido immediately felt bad. Wait a moment. Kaido tried to stop it, but failed. Boom, boom, boom. There were explosions one after another. The flames of the explosion directly illuminated the entire sea and sky. The sea was tumbling, and the smoke was billowing. Mushroom clouds soared into the sky. Advertisement. Do not. Kaido growled angrily. But at this moment, he couldn't do anything. He could only watch the ships of the beast's pirates, one after another, explode in front of his eyes and turn into smoke. The beast's pirates own far more ships than the Whitebeard Pirates, with 40 or 50 ships. These boats formed a circle, which could completely surround the entire Foz Island. But now, these 40 or 50 huge ships are exploding one after another, turning into ashes. And tens of thousands of beast's pirates members on board also died in the sea of fire. The members of these beasts pirates are basically zone demon fruit power, some have natural zone devil fruit power, and some are artificial zone devil fruit. Hidden. But in any case, they are all the zone demon fruit power legion that Kaido has spent decades of painstaking efforts to create. But now, all of them were burned to the ground, and they were all buried in the sea of flames. 0. No matter how big Kaido's heart is, watching this scene is like a knife piercing his heart. How can that be? Quinn, who was wrapped in bandages all over, was also dumbfounded by the scene in front of him. Did someone tamper with the power rock? Jin, on the contrary, immediately understood the cause of the explosion. Only when the power rock was tampered with, this scene would appear. Kaido made a big mistake. Knowing that Doflamingo has betrayed him, he still planned to use the power rock he offered to deal with him and Bai Ye. But having said that, this plan is so urgent, let alone Kaido, who would have thought that in such a short period of time, Doflamingo would have an impact on the dynamics. Advertisement. Foot. Of course, it doesn't have to be Doflamingo either. Virgo. Well done. Doflamingo complimented Virgo. Iron Man Virgo remained silent. It is true that Doflamingo did not tell him his real plan, but, as a senior cadre of the Don Quixote family, he is loyal to Doflamingo. Although I don't understand why Doflamingo wants him to do something on the power rock. Want to take on the mighty monster like Kaido. But if he intends to betray Kaido, the amount of power rock is not enough to kill Kaido at all, and it will only provoke Kaido's crazy revenge. At that time, the entire Don Quixote family of 2.5 will be reduced to ashes under Kaido's anger. Even so, Virgo followed Doflamingo's orders without any questioning. If it was Virgo who had already arrived at Foz Island 2 days ago, he would indeed have time to do something about the power rock. It turns out that all of this was your plan. Kaido growled. So, we beasts pirates have fallen into a trap and become a turtle in an urn, right? Kaido said again. He originally planned to make Bai Ye the turtle in the urn, and they could catch the turtle in the urn, but who would have imagined that things would turn around so suddenly? Doflamingo turned out to be betrayed. And all of this was a trap that Bai Ye had set up 2 or 3 days ago. 192. A touching scene. The Whitebeard Pirates arrive. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Compared with Bai Ye's tricks, Kaido is still far behind. That's right, Kaido, I've said long ago that I want you to change your name. I let you go 2 days ago, but this time, I won't let you go. Bai Ye sneered. HMPH, it's up to you. Kaido smiled instead of angry. Bai Ye, do you think that you won because Doflamingo betrayed Laozi? You are wrong. If it was you 2 days ago, you would have had a chance to defeat Laozi. Now, even if you have Doflamingo, a traitor, helping you, how can you win? How? There are so many people behind me. Don't you think that just you and the traitor Doflamingo can deal with Laozi and the gang behind Laozi? Bai Ye, Laozi will let you die here today. As Kaido said, he let out an angry roar, unleashed thunder 8 trigrams, and smashed down another mace towards Bai Ye. Boom. The purple thunder flashed past, and the ground exploded one after another. No, Kaido, you are wrong again. 30. Indeed, with my current strength, it's really not enough to deal with you, Jin, Ling Kong Luzi and others. But you seem to have forgotten that there is still behind me, Pinton, Bai Ye roared, an entire Whitebeard Pirates. A loud roar shook the world. Even the tsunami caused by Kaido seemed to be suppressed by Bai Ye's roar in his life. At the same time, in the turbulent sea, the shadows of ships appeared in the flames. In the next second, a huge ship broke through the flames and rushed out of the flames. It turned out to be the main ship of the Whitebeard Pirates, Moby Dick. Not only the Moby Dick, but also the ships of the Whitebeard pirates broke through the flames one after another and appeared in front of everyone. There are not many ships, more than 20 ships. Advertisement. But all the members of the Whitebeard pirates, not including the pirates under its banner, are all here. Robin was stunned when he saw this scene. In her heart, at this moment, there is only one thought. Yes, that is inspirational. This reminded her of how the friends of the Straw Hat Pirates at Annie's lobby never came to save her like this. Perhaps, this battle is doomed to countless casualties, but so what? If it was for their companions, for their family, why would they die? This is the belief of the Whitebeard Pirates. The belief of the Straw Hat Pirates, I have to say, is quite similar to that of the Whitebeard Pirates. Brother Bai Ye, although your plan is a little foolish, but I don't believe you, brother. Standing on the bow of the Moby Dick, the high-spirited Whitebeard spoke first, saying, Brother Bai Ye, Wable is here, no matter what you want Wable to do, what mountain or sea, Lousy will not frown. In the Wable, followed by shouting. Full of momentum, just a little silly. That's right, big brother Bai Ye, no matter whether it's going up the mountain of swords or down into the sea of fire, as long as you give the order, we will all be obliged to do so without hesitation. In contrast, Ace is much more knowledgeable and talented. Bai Ye, Lousy's life was saved by you, you can use it as you like. Sage, the captain of the fourth team, couldn't help but speak. Brothers, follow me and go. 3 days ago, Kaido led a surprise attack on our territory and humiliated our Whitebeard pirates. Today, we, Tien Bei, will return it. Advertisement. Marco, the captain of the first team, roared. He was waiting for this day, and he had been waiting impatiently for a long time. Although, as the captain of the first team and Whitebeard's most likely heir, he should be more rational. Perhaps, we should think carefully about whether leading the Whitebeard pirates to attack the Beast's pirates this time will make the Whitebeard pirates fall into a more difficult situation. But, what the hell? It is not a gentleman not to avenge this revenge, so first avenge this revenge. Besides the Beast's pirates, there's the Big Mom pirates, and of course, the Marine and World government. Anyone who was related to the raid 3 days ago, the Whitebeard pirates, will get it back from them. Come on. There was a roar, earth-shattering. Whitebeard pirates. Damn it. Seeing this, Kaido's face became more serious. Whitebeard is already old, maybe it is not a concern, but if you add more than a dozen captains of the Whitebeard pirates, it will be difficult to deal with. The only thing Kaido can be thankful for is that in this explosion, the deaths were all insignificant characters from Beast's pirates. As for the truly important characters, such as Yan Calamity Jin, Plague Calamity Quinn, and the 6 sons of Ling Kong, etc., they are always by his side. So even if he saw Whitebeard leading the Whitebeard pirates out, he still felt that the outcome of this victory was still uncertain. Unexpectedly, the Whitebeard pirates also came out in full force. Jin, who was the Emperor's deputy, couldn't help but speak. That's right, it's really time to get to know the Whitebeard pirates. Black Maria spoke. As soon as she spoke, Drake and other members of the 6 Volleys couldn't help looking at her in surprise. Advertisement. No one would have imagined that she would be so confident at a time like this. Quack, quack, Lousy has long wanted to meet Diamond Josie of the Whitebeard Pirates. I have never had a chance before. This time, let's see if 193 Lousy breaks him into diamonds. Sasaki, who was the 6th volley, opened his mouth even more arrogantly. Those behind Kaido were initially taken aback when they saw Whitebeard leading the Whitebeard Pirates out in force. But after regaining consciousness, they quickly calmed down. From this point, it is enough to see that they are not ordinary people. Ordinary people, the Whitebeard Pirates in front of them are afraid to cry in fear. At least, some people have been scared to cry. Granu's eyes were white with tears. Yes, it is the Whitebeard Pirates brought by Bai Ye. Young master, what should we do? Obviously, this little loli hasn't figured out until now, which side Doflamingo is on. 21. Doflamingo was naturally speechless about this. It turns out that if the appearance remains at the age of 10, the IQ will really stay at the age of 10. Jin, the Whitebeard Pirates will be handed over to you. Kaido finally spoke for the first time. He saw that his subordinates quickly calmed down after the initial surprise, so there was nothing to worry about. The only thing he has to worry about is that he has to deal with Bai Ye. No problem. Jin responded indifferently. His eyes missed Marco and fell on Whitebeard instead. 193. Bai Ye fights Kaido again. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It can be seen that Jin is very arrogant, he doesn't take Marco seriously, and instead regards Whitebeard as his opponent. Gu la 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 la. You are Jin, the second in command of the Beast's Pirates. It is said that your strength is only 1 foot away from the level of the Emperor of the Sea. Or, I will let the old man meet you, I hope you don't let the old man down. Whitebeard laughed boldly. Jin wasn't too thrilled to have Whitebeard acknowledging that he had 1 foot in the Sea Emperor. Maybe it was because he was very calm, or maybe it was because the iron mask on his face covered his expression. After a brief silence, Jin said to Quinn and the 6 Ling Kongs beside him, Quinn, you lead the 6 Ling Kongs to deal with the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates, and the other members of the Whitebeard Pirates will be handed over to the numerous coders and seriously. As for Whitebeard himself, I'll take care of it. As soon as Jin finished speaking, the voice of Foz Fao, who had turned back into a human form, sounded immediately. HMPH, why should you decide, if Laozi also wants to fight against you Huzi? Naturally, the others of the 6 volleys had no objection and obeyed Jin's arrangement, but Foz Fao, who had always been dissatisfied with Jin and Quinn, was naturally unwilling to obey after hearing the words. Foz Fowler, what time is it now, and you should be quiet. 27. Quinn, who was covered in bandages, resisted the severe pain and spoke. However, Foz Fu didn't pay attention to him at all, just stared at Jin. Finally, Black Maria stood up. I said, stop arguing, Foz Fao, isn't your opponent the traitor Doflamingo? Kill the traitor Doflamingo and take his head to the governor. The governor will definitely promote you to succeed Jack. Become one of the 3 plagues. Who is Black Maria? Although she is also the 6th volley, she has a very close relationship with Kaido. Advertisement. After hearing what Foz Fu said, she also felt that what she said was very reasonable. He was dealing with Doflamingo just now, and he knew that Kaido hates traitors the most. As long as he kills Doflamingo, the traitor, promotion and fortune are just around the corner. For Black Maria's sake, I won't take Whitebeard from you. Huh. Foz Fao dropped a sentence, and then set his sights on Doflamingo again. Doflamingo had already heaved a sigh of relief, but seeing this dangerous guy's eyes fell on him again, he couldn't help but feel pain again. Seeing that Foz Fu compromised, Black Maria couldn't help but heaved a sigh of relief, and said, as for me, I naturally don't have time to accompany you to deal with the many captains of the Whitebeard Pirates. I want to fight side by side with the governor. As she spoke, she walked towards Kaido who had already confronted Bai Ye. Quinn heard that even if he wanted to stop him, he didn't dare, so he had no choice but to lead the remaining 4 volleyers, preparing to face the 16 captains of the Whitebeard Pirates. During the time when the cadres of the Beasts Pirates were arguing, the ships of the Whitebeard Pirates moved very fast, and soon arrived at various ports on Foz Island. Watching countless members of the Whitebeard Pirates jump from the boat. Jin, Quinn, the 6 Ling Kong sons and the others all know that what awaits them next will be an unprecedented bitter battle. But even so, the people of the Beasts Pirates are no longer afraid. After all, they are the Beasts Pirates that everyone fears. Action. Jin gave an order, and immediately, hundreds of Beasts Pirates members rushed forward. Kill. Advertisement. With the roar of the 4 ghosts who were so huge that they fit into a mountain, the battle between the Whitebeard Pirates and the Beasts Pirates officially started. Leave this big guy to me, Wable, you don't have to protect me all the time, go do what you want to do. As the captain of the Whitebeard Pirates' 4th division, I, Sage, may not be as powerful as the other captains, but it is still possible to deal with a slow-moving behemoth. Sage spoke to Wable who had been following him closely. Originally, Wable didn't want to protect Sage, but Sage was the captain of the 4th team, and he was a member of the 4th team. Bai Ye told him to protect him before, and he got used to it, so he just protected him casually. A bit. But now, since he heard what Sage said, he no longer intends to stay with Sage, he is going to help his most respected brother Bai Ye. At the same time, at the center of Foz Island, Bai Ye and Kaido have already started fighting, and the fighting is in full swing. Dragon Fist. Kaido roared, his fist was covered with a layer of hard dragon scales, and he blasted towards Bai Ye. The power of this punch is terrifying. When the punch hits, the air it passes through is split into tiny black cracks. Oh, just in time. But Bai Ye didn't panic at all. Iron Dragon Slayer Magic. Iron Dragon Steel Fist. Bai Ye directly cast the Iron Dragon Slayer magic, cooperated with Armament Hockey, fully armed his right fist, and then slammed Kaido's fist together. Boom. Advertisement. A huge explosion sounded, and the entire Foz Island began to shake violently. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, others would probably think that the extremely dangerous power rock exploded again. Who would have thought that this was just the movement caused by 2 people fighting fists? What's more shocking is that Bai Ye's fist is obviously only 1/10 the size of Kaido's fist, but in this fist fight, he didn't lose at all. On the contrary, Kaido, who is bulky, doesn't look very good looking. It is estimated that Bai Ye's iron fist hurt him. This point can be seen from the broken and peeled dragon scales. Among them, the place where Bai Ye, Nuo Li Hao's fists collided, the scales peeled off the most, and almost all of them fell off. Impossible. How long has it been since you have mastered the steel ability? How did you do it? Kaido couldn't help but speak. What a terrifying talent, to progress so fast. Thinking of this, Kaido's pupils could not help constricting. Damn, this guy is not really a demon. Hehe, guess what? Bai Ye naturally wouldn't tell Kaido the reason. If it is fruit ability, it will take a certain amount of time to develop. But if it is Iron Dragon Slayer magic, there is systematic assistance, plus the previous experience in practicing other Dragon Slayer magic, although it has only been a day or two, but the proficiency of Iron Dragon Slayer magic is still rising of. Now, Bai Ye's proficiency in Iron Dragon Slayer magic has reached 20. 194 Scared Black Maria. Advertisement. I believe that in another month, the proficiency of the Iron Dragon Slayer magic can be cultivated to 100. Unlike the Dragon Slayer magic in the sky, which is affected by the climate, it is very difficult to improve the proficiency. The Dragon Slayer magic of iron is still much faster to improve the proficiency. It is still very easy to cultivate to 100. What Bai Ye should expect is that after the Iron Dragon Slaying magic, the system will let him master that kind of dragon slaying magic next. Moreover, Bai Ye had a hunch that if he mastered the 5 kinds of dragon slaying magic proficiently, then another ability should also be activated. Just when Bai Ye was lost in thought, a shriek suddenly sounded. The poison of spiders, the most poisonous woman's heart. A huge pitch-black ancient tarantula, which only existed in ancient times, suddenly appeared behind Bai Ye. A huge pitch-black spider hangs upside down on the huge spider web that was formed at some time. On the spider's back sat a beautiful woman in a kimono with sexy shoulders. The combination of beauty and danger is, it seems, so creepy. That's right, the beautiful woman is one of the 6 sons of Ling Kong, Black Maria. Following Black Maria's order, the spider spit out a cloud of pitch-black venom from its mouth. Wherever the venom passed, even the air was corroded to produce bursts of blue smoke, not to mention buildings, stones, etc. As long as it touched a little bit of 500 venom, it would be corroded immediately. It can be seen how strong the poison of this spider is. Moreover, this highly corrosive venom just happened to restrain Bai Ye's Iron Dragon Slayer magic. Black Maria probably intends to use this to catch Bai Ye off guard, so as to help Kaido. However, she was wrong. Toxic. Seeing this, Bai Ye smiled. Playing with poison in front of me, Bai Ye. Advertisement. I'm afraid you don't know how to write dead characters. Seeing the poison splashing towards him, Bai Ye didn't even bother to dodge. When the poison was about to pour on his head, Bai Ye just opened his mouth, took a deep breath, and sucked all the poison into his mouth. He actually ate the poison. This scene terrified the spider fruit ability user, Black Maria. Even if she is a spider fruit user with the ability to produce neurotoxins and corrosive venoms, she doesn't dare to eat unknown venoms so rashly. Not only her, but even the dragon fruit ability user, Magellan, would not dare to do this. However, Bai Ye actually did this, so with Dafa, Black Maria's knowledge, how could she not be shocked? You know, the corrosive venom she made, but just a little bit of it can corrode sea kings into skeletons. By doing this, Bai Ye is sure he didn't seek his own death. However, what happened next made Black Maria's flowers pale on the spot. Very poisonous, very poisonous. Bai Ye smacked his mouth, as if what he was eating was not venom, but some worldly delicacy. Black Maria was dumbfounded on the spot. However, it's not over yet. After eating the highly poisonous fruit, the power of the poisonous dragon slayer fruit greatly increased. Bai Ye opened his mouth and spat out, and returned the transformed venom to Black Maria. Black Maria. Yes. Seeing this, Kaido quickly pushed Black Maria away. The venom landed right on Kaido's arm. Advertisement. Pooh. A puff of blue smoke came out, and Kaido's right hand strengthened by dragon scales, and his entire arm were corroded bones on the spot. Even the extremely hard and resilient dragon scales are totally powerless against the venom made by Bai Ye. How can that be? Black Maria was frightened again. She tried to corrode Kaido's dragon scales with her spider poison, but it didn't work at all, or the effect was very unsatisfactory. But the venom produced by Bai Ye corroded the dragon scales without any effort. The venom ability of the two, which is stronger and weaker, can be seen at a glance. Your Excellency, it's my fault, I personally underestimated Kuyi's ability. Black Maria said with a pale face and dry mouth. Come on. Kaido stopped her. In this short period of time, Kaido's corroded right arm has grown blood and flesh. Kaido's powerful self-healing ability is simply terrifying. Brother Bai Ye, Weibo is here. Brother Bai Ye, let Weibo help you. Just at this time, Weibo, who rushed over, saw this, shouted, and held a huge naginata, or guando, and plundered towards Bai Ye. When he saw Kaido, there was Black Maria to help him, so he came to help Bai Ye, not too much. Kaido, you dare to attack Brother Bai Ye, die. After Weibo rushed over, without saying a word, the naginata in his hand went straight to Kaido's head. Unlike Bai Ye, his figure is comparable to that of Kaido, so this knife is still full of momentum. Advertisement. Do not. Bai Ye tried to stop it, but Weibo, who was reckless and impulsive, didn't listen at all. Roll. Unexpectedly, Kaido was in the midst of a battle with Bai Ye, and some uninformed guy rushed in and attacked him. In anger, Kaido had nothing to say, and directly recorded Thunder 8 trigrams, the mace glowing with purple thunder, and slammed towards Weibo viciously. Weibo's bounty has doubled after the Summit War, after all, he destroyed the walls of the Summit War and the bounty amount has reached 600 million. But compared to Kaido, who has a bounty of 4.6 billion, he is nothing. Boom. The mace slammed on Weibo's naginata fiercely, crushing the naginata in Weibo's hand directly, and then smashed it hard on Weibo's body. Wow. Weibo let out a scream, and the whole person flew upside down. The chest even burst open, and blood splashed all over the ground. Weibo. Robin couldn't help screaming. Although she couldn't say she had a good impression of Weibo, who admired Bai Ye to the extreme, she was still deeply impressed. She wanted to save Weibo, but thought that doing so would only bring more trouble to Bai Ye, so she stopped. After all, a battle of this level is simply not something she can participate in now. Seeing that Weibo was about to be hammered to death by Kaido, at this time, Bai Ye's figure turned into a gust of wind that came and went without a trace, and appeared behind Weibo. Snapped. Bai Ye reached out to support Weibo, and neutralized most of the power of the thundering 8 trigrams for him. Although, Weibo's chest was hit by a mace, and the whole thing exploded, bloody, and the field was terrifying. 195 Panicked Kaido. What the hell is this flame? Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Fortunately, Weibo seems to have inherited Whitebeard's strong body, and this injury is nothing to him at all. Brother Bai Ye, you saved Weibo again. Although Weibo has some mental problems, he is still very clear that just now, Bai Ye saved him again. Hey, Weibo, how should I put it? You don't have enough strength, so don't meddle in it. Kaido's strength is not something you can deal with at all. Bai Ye preached to Weibo very straightforwardly. How can I do that? There were many enemies last time, so I had no choice but to fight side by side with you, big brother Bai Ye. This time, whatever you say, I have to fight side by side with you, big brother Bai Ye. Who knows, Weibo is a dead brain at all. If that's the case, well, the dangerous woman next to Kaido, Black Maria, will be dealt with by you. Bai Ye could only say helplessly. While speaking, he thought of another thing. Maybe, we should think of a way to make Weibo stronger, instead of letting him continue like this. It would be a waste to not cultivate such a loyal younger brother with not too bad potential. Is she dangerous? Weibo's mind was full of revenge for being knocked away by Kaido just now, but after hearing what Bai Ye said, he changed his mind. That's right, since she can stay by Kaido's side, it naturally means that she is also very powerful. While muttering this, Weibo patted his chest and assured Bai Ye, don't worry, brother Bai Ye, the black stockings will be handed over to you. Give it to me. It's Black Maria. Bai Ye was speechless when he heard this. Bai Ye, how long do you two plan to continue chatting? Laozi is already getting impatient. At this moment, Kaido roared, rushed towards Bai Ye, and launched a fierce attack on him. Advertisement. It goes without saying that Kaido is naturally impatient. After all, he fell into the trap designed by Bai Ye. Now, except for the hundreds of cadres who followed him, all the members of the Beast's Pirates were killed by the terrifying power of the Power Rock. For the Beast's Pirates, the situation was extremely unfavorable. So, how can it be annoying? Kaido never expected that 3 days ago, this was the situation of the Whitebeard Pirates, and now it has become the situation of their Beast's Pirates. If he had known that Bai Ye held vengeance so quickly, and implemented the revenge plan so soon, he should not have agreed to the world government and teamed up with Big Mom to launch a sneak attack on the Whitebeard Pirates. Unfortunately, there is no regret medicine in the world. Sorry now, it's too late. All Kaido can do now is to try his best to save the situation. Moreover, Kaido has already thought about it carefully. With Bai Ye's current strength, as long as he doesn't show his unexpected tricks like last time, the relationship between him and him should be 50-50. In other words, with years of combat experience, he still has a chance to defeat Bai Ye, and he will be ashamed. Thinking of this, Kaido strengthened his will. This time he will defeat Bai Ye no matter what. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. With a roar, Kaido unleashed one of his strongest moves in half-dragon form, God. Bang. The entire Foz Island seemed to bear an unbearable weight, and suddenly collapsed. Just relying on the explosion of power, a large island is faintly showing signs of being unable to bear it. It has to be said that Kaido is worthy of being one of the 4 emperors. It's no wonder that he dares to call himself the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, although Bai Ye strongly disagrees with this. But, anyway, it's all accepted by everyone. Not good. Advertisement. Wow. Black Maria and Weibo, who were in the center of the battlefield, both yelled at the same time, and then quickly backed away without any other consideration. They didn't heave a long sigh of relief until they retreated to the cliff by the sea and felt that overwhelming power was no longer so terrifying. Sure enough, it's best not to participate in this kind of monster-level battle, and those guys whose strength has not yet reached the Marine Admiral level. The so-called gods fight, and mortals suffer. The 2 of them may even die because of the spread, that would be too pitiful. Well done. Seeing Kaido jumping high and smashing down the huge mace in his hand towards him with monstrous momentum, instead of panicking at all, Bai Ye was very excited. For him, this is another opportunity to quickly improve the Iron Dragon Slayer magic. 0 for flowers. Thinking of this, Bai Ye used the dragon-slaying dragon magic to steal his entire body, and then covered it with a layer of armament hockey. At this moment, Bai Ye is like an Iron Man, with such strong defense that even Ghost Bamboo Virgo, who specializes in body training and has a very high level of armament hockey, can't help but feel ashamed when he sees this. How is this possible, this hardness? Virgo broke out in a cold sweat. He has always had doubts in his heart, whether it was worth it for the young master to betray Kaido and choose Bai Ye. But seeing this scene in front of him, he began to waver. He thinks that his armament Haki is still cultivated to ultimate, which can cover the whole body and is invulnerable. But now, he knows what it means to be someone beyond the human, and there is a sky beyond the sky. Boom. Advertisement. Kaido's mace smashed down hard. Starting from where Bai Ye was standing, the earth began to burst, and it was still spreading outward at an extremely fast speed. It even spread to the edge of Foz Island, and the people who were fighting fiercely by the seaside or on the edge of the cliff couldn't help but panic for a while. A few people who were too close to the beast's pirates in the center even exploded to death directly because of the berserk force. But even with such a powerful and ferocious blow, Bai Ye, who was at the center of the force, still showed no panic on his face. With a powerful body made of steel and blessed by armament Haki, Bai Ye is strong enough to resist this monstrous force. Of course, with Bai Ye's current strength, it is not enough to deal with Kaido only by relying on the Iron Dragon Slayer magic. FFLX. Fire Dragon Slayer magic. Dragon God's Radiant Flame. Drink. Bai Ye let out a roar, and he punched out an iron fist carrying golden flames. Boom. The iron fist collided with the mace, and an earth-shattering movement erupted. At the same time, the monstrous flames erupted and quickly devoured Kaido. A second ago, Kaido was still struggling to stand up, trying to get rid of Bai Ye with a mace. However, in the next second, his face changed dramatically. What the hell is this flame? Kaido panicked. 196. The Mystery of Dragon Slayer Change Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Feeling the horrific high temperature of the flaming flames that could melt the hard dragon scales on his body, Kaido panicked. The flaming flames didn't even reach his body, and the high temperature already made the dragon scales show signs of melting. Kaido is not stupid. He naturally knows that if he is allowed to be burned by this brilliant flame, he will surely die. Immediately, Kaido could only grit his teeth, burst out a powerful energy, and forced Wang Yan back, and then jumped out with the strength of Bai Ye's iron fist. Huang Yan was forced to retreat, and quickly counterattacked. Of course, it was only in vain. But even so, seeing Wang Yan's counterattack, Kaido was still in a cold sweat. Sure enough, even if Bai Ye's current strength is not as good as before, he still can't take it lightly. What, Your Excellency, the governor, has displayed a monstrous power, but he was forced to retreat by Bai Ye. Although Kaido didn't think there was anything wrong with Bai Ye forcing 297 to retreat, but Black Maria was extremely shocked when he saw it. As the woman next to Kaido, she knows how powerful Kaido is far better than others, but even Kaido, who is as strong as a monster, was forced back by Bai Ye's punch. So, how could she not be shocked? Even all the time, the firm belief has been shaken violently. Yes, in the past, she always thought that Kaido was the most powerful man in the whole world. Whitebeard or something, although he is known as the strongest man in the world, he is old after all. But Kaido is different, he is in his prime. But now, Heather Maria realized that she was wrong. At least, the demon in front of her was not inferior to Kaido in terms of power. As this Bai Ye, the man known as the strongest demon in the new era. Black Maria muttered Bai Ye's name silently, and fell into deep thought. Fighting with me, Wabel, you still have the heart to worry about your man. At the same time, Wabel turned into a bomb chariot and charged towards Black Maria. Advertisement. Every step shakes the ground. That's enough impact to smash through the walls of Marineford. If Wabel hadn't been so naive and warned Black Maria in advance before launching the attack, but instead took the opportunity to launch a sneak attack, this impact would definitely cause huge damage to Black Maria. Unfortunately, he reminded Black Maria, and Black Maria reacted immediately, and quickly turned to the ancient tarantula below her, and was more flexible to hit Wabel's impact, and then waited for an opportunity to counterattack. The two immediately fell into a fierce battle. Of course, compared to Kaido and Bai Ye's battles, the other people's battles are like petty fights. Overlord. With a roar, Kaido unleashed another powerful move, Kai. Although the power of Bahai has been weakened a little without the cooperation of Ant, but because of the mace in his hand, Bahai's power is still extremely terrifying. Boom. The entire sea, even because of Kaido's use of this move, was churning. It seems that the sea is going to be turned upside down. At the same time, Phoenix Seal, Marco, who was fighting Quinn fiercely by the beach, turned into a half-phoenix at this moment, with blue flames burning on the wings behind him, and he was planning to use the Phoenix Seal to take Quinn down in one fell swoop. Usually, Quinn's strength may be comparable to Marco's. In the original book, his ice ghost virus even caused Marco to suffer. But now, he, who was seriously injured by Bai Ye, is no match for Marco. Seeing it, the huge phoenix seal formed by the azure blue cold fire was about to ruthlessly imprint on his body, burning him into ashes. But at this moment, Kaido just launched Tyrant Sea, the sea rolled, and the monstrous waves swept over. Depend on. Although Marco was not reconciled, he had to stop and quickly retreated towards the land. Advertisement. After all, he is a demon fruit power, and seawater is his biggest nemesis. If he only wanted to kill Quinn and was swept into the sea by the waves, then he would be dead. 1-for-1 limit is definitely a loss for Marco, so he can only choose to let Quinn go and avoid the huge waves. Similarly, the people who were fighting fiercely on the beach also chose to stop and retreat to the land. After all, life matters. The camera returns to Bai Ye and Kaido again. Facing Kaido's overlord, Bai Ye also did not dare to underestimate him, and was forced to use the secret technique of killing the dragon. Dragon Slayer Profound Truth Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade. Bai Ye's open palm was suddenly clenched, and the Huang Yan that had been blasted out before instantly returned and gathered on his fist. His fist was immediately surrounded by layers of golden flames. 0. Immediately, Bai Ye jumped up with a thunderous speed no less than the speed of light, and instantly surpassed Kaido in the air. In the air, Bai Ye was condescending and landed with a punch. The moment Bai Ye's fist fell, golden flames shot up into the sky, and a huge red lotus magic circle formed behind Bai Ye. Golden flames burned continuously along the edge of the lotus. Everything looks slow, but is actually very fast. In just an instant, the magic circle was completed. This is Doflamingo, who was fighting fiercely with Foz Fao, was startled when he saw this scene. He is familiar with this scene. Bai Ye is about to display the Dragon Slayer Profound Truth Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade. He was under Bai Ye's move back then, and he couldn't be defeated again. Advertisement. However, Doflamingo got it a little wrong after all. What Bai Ye used was not the ordinary Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade, but Dragon Slayer Mysteries Chong Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade. Following Bai Ye's roar, a huge red lotus blaze knife made of golden blaze descended from the sky. As soon as the Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade appeared, it directly defeated Kaido's overlord aura. The monstrous huge waves even fell back into the sea weakly. Those who were too late to escape escaped unharmed. Immediately afterwards, the Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade collided with the huge 0.6 mace in Kaido's hand. In just one collision, Kaido held a mace made of special materials, which was directly crushed and turned into powder, and was instantly burned to death by Huang Yan. Immediately, the Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade swallowed Kaido whole. My Lord Governor, Captain, Master Kaido, Black Maria, Jin, Quinn, and all the members of the Beast's Pirates shouted in horror. Of course, this is not the most frightening thing for everyone. The next scene made everyone truly feel the horror of the Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade. Boom. After the Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade engulfed Kaido, it hit the ground hard. In the center of Foz Island, a huge unfathomable hole was pierced by the Red Lotus Flame Blade. 197. Kaido's last move, Zhongyi Yin Naraku. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Wow. Only then did Flamingo realize that Bai Ye's current move is several levels stronger than the Red Lotus Explosive Flame Blade that defeated him back then. Doflamingo didn't know, how could Kaido survive this trick? At least, if it was him, he would definitely not be able to survive. Is this the strongest demon in the new era? Is this Bai Ye? Fortunately, Laozi is on the right team. Doflamingo was terrified and couldn't help but rejoice that he had made the right choice. If he chooses to team up with Kaido and pit Bai Ye together. So now, Kaido's fate must be his fate. Impossible. Master Kaido died just like that. After a long time, the members of the Beast's Pirates who reacted again just now had expressions of panic on their faces. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Master Kaido is the most powerful creature in the sea, land and air. Boss. Your Excellency Governor. Just when the members of the Beast's Pirates were worried about Kaido, Kaido's voice rang out in the 30th Wangyan. Stop screaming. It's too noisy. Lousy, I'm not dead yet. Before the voice fell, Kaido had already slowly walked out from the flames. Ha, the captain is really fine. Let me just say, this little flame, how can it do nothing? Sasaki's words were halfway through, but suddenly stopped. Because he saw that Kaido was covered in fire and was burning with blazing flames. Seeing this scene, the other Beast's Pirates couldn't help but gasp for Kaido. Huang Yan is burning on the body, how painful is this? Advertisement. Fighting against Laozi, how dare you be distracted? Diamond Joe said in a deep voice. Then the whole person turned into a diamond and slammed into Sasaki fiercely. Damn it, you actually took advantage of someone's danger. Only then did Sasaki react, and hastily displayed the ability of the Triceratops fruit, transformed into a Triceratops, and collided with Diamond Chaozi fiercely with the hard horns on its head. LB. Earth shakes. Sasaki and Josie are evenly matched. On the other hand, Kaido seemed to be on fire all over, which was very miserable. It is not. I saw that Kaido in the half-dragon state was covered with hard dragon scales all over his body. It was this layer of hard dragon scales that allowed him to withstand Bai Ye's Dragon Slayer Profound Truth Chong Red Lotus Brilliant Flame Blade. Of course, Kaido is not unscathed. Soon, the dragon scales on Kaido's body burst one by one due to the high temperature, and then fell off, revealing his red body burned by the flames. However, the falling off of the dragon scales took away the flames, and also freed Kaido from the pain of being continuously burned by the brilliant flames. It's all right. Doflamingo was surprised when he saw this. He ate Bai Ye's red lotus explosive flame blade and almost died, but Kaido, who forcibly picked up a red lotus flame blade, was only slightly injured. Which one is stronger and which one is weaker can be seen from this. But Bai didn't seem to care about it. Teoshin, Bahai, Kaido, are you only good at these two moves? Bai Ye mocked. Shut up, Bai Ye. Since you are so eager to die, well, Laozi will help you. Sure enough, Duo was immediately given by Bai Ye. I'll let you see Laozi's true strength. Advertisement. As Kaido said, he suddenly jumped up high, and the flaming mass of powdery matter in his hand, under the influence of his armament haki, no, it was the high-level armament haki, began to gather and change its shape. Soon, a steel mace appeared in his hand. It turned out that the mass of powder was the mace that was directly turned into powder by Red Lotus Flame Blade just now. As this, advanced armament haki, as expected of Kaido. Bai Ye didn't seem to have changed much on the surface, but he still couldn't help admiring in his heart. Kaido's armament haki has not only cultivated to the point where he can strengthen his body and weapons, but even to the point where he can change the nature of matter. Obviously, this is no ordinary armament haki can do. This is advanced armament haki. Rumble. As Kaido jumped into the sky, bursts of thunder sounded. The whole world suddenly darkened. Countless energies frantically rushed towards Kaido. And Kaido's body also erupted with a burst of powerful energy. The energy turned into black lightning, quickly entwined towards the mace. Bai Ye, let me show you the most powerful moves of old age. Sanaraku. Accompanied by Kaido's roar, he was condescending, and the mace in his hand slammed downward. Boom. The loud noise of the energy explosion. A pitch black lightning struck down day and night first. Immediately afterwards, the sky was dark and the earth was in turmoil. At this moment, the huge Foz Island is like a weak boat, in the raging sea of energy, wobbly and turbulent. As for Bai Ye, with him as the center, the ground under his feet began to crack. Advertisement. Kaido's move was too powerful. Before the mace fell off, Foz Island showed faint signs of being unable to bear it. As this is Kaido's true strength. When Marco saw this, he was also frightened. This is too strong. Even if Ace refuses to accept it, he has to admit that Kaido's strength is not something that 033 at his level can handle. Of the entire Whitebeard pirate group, only Bai Ye and Whitebeard can deal with him. Of course, the latter is not enough under normal conditions, it can only be done under good conditions. After all, it is old. Is this your most powerful move? Not bad, not bad. Seeing this, Bai Ye was both praised and excited. He has been waiting for this moment for a long time. Fire Dragon Slayer magic. Thunder Dragon Slayer magic. Sky Dragon Slayer magic. In an instant, Bai Ye cast 3 kinds of dragon slaying magic. Before, he could at most cast 2 kinds of dragon slaying magic at one time, and 3 at one time. This was his first attempt. Using the powerful Fire Dragon Slaying magic and Thunder Dragon Slayer magic as the means of attack, and the Sky Dragon Slayer magic as an auxiliary, strengthened the power of the first 2 Dragon Slayer magics. This is the move that Bai Ye carefully prepared to deal with Kaido. Just in time, Kaido. When the black lightning was about to strike Bai Ye, blasting him and the rocks around him into dust, Bai Ye made a move. This time, instead of the dragon slaying magic of fire in his left hand and the dragon slaying magic of thunder in his right hand, he gathered the 2 dragon slaying magics in one fist. Lei Yanlong's Strike Iron. Bai Ye let out an angry roar, and Ji Iron Fist slammed towards Duo above. 198. Zhongyi Yin Naraku is nothing more than that, flying Kaido with one punch. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Roar. A dragon chant resounded throughout the world. In an instant, the pupils of all people shrank, and the scene they saw was reflected in their eyes. They saw that Mong Bai Ye had turned into a giant dragon controlling thunder and fire. The dragon roared, pouring out his wrath on the world. How can that be? Kaido obviously also saw this scene. Compared with others, he bears the brunt of it, and feels the strength of day and night. He originally thought that Bai Ye's strength would become weaker if it was greatly discounted. But at this moment, he realized that he was wrong. What makes Bai Ye powerful is not the various abilities he controls, but himself. As the master of dragon slaying magic, Bai Ye himself is a giant dragon. Even if the strength of the giant dragon is greatly reduced, its physical strength and strength are real. This group is Bai Ye's capital. Aside from all kinds of bells and whistles, but extremely powerful dragon slaying magic, the most powerful thing about Bai Ye is the physique of a giant dragon he possesses. Although Kaido is also a blue dragon, his strength comes from devil fruit. Bai Ye is different, his strength comes from himself. This is also the reason why Bai Ye has the confidence to deal with Kaido when his strength is greatly reduced. Boom. Bai Ye's fist collided violently with Kaido's mace. With just one touch, the steel mace in Kaido's hand, which was more than 10 times bigger than Bai Ye's fist, fell apart in an instant. After Lei Yan shattered the mace, he slammed towards Kaido viciously. Advertisement. Do not. Kaido couldn't imagine that Bai Ye couldn't be so strong when his strength was greatly reduced. The moment the mace was shattered, he had already sensed that something was not right. In desperation, he didn't care so much anymore, and directly unleashed the power of the Azure Dragon. I saw that on Kaido's chest, dragon scales were continuously formed one after another. Soon, a heart guard was formed. It seems that Kaido intends to use this breast shield to resist Bai Ye's Lei Yanlong's hammer. Nice, does this work? Boom. Bai Ye's fist hit Kaido's heart hard. Immediately, Kaido flew upside down like a kite with a broken string. Of course, this is not over yet. The power of Lei Yanlong's iron strike was magnified to the maximum under the blessing of the Sky Dragon Slayer magic. Lei Yan directly penetrates the breastplate formed by dragon scales, pierces through Kaido's back and bends. Boom. Bang bang bang. Lei Yan exploded, and exploded again. Fire lights up the sky. The darkness brought by Kaido's descendant 3 Yin Naraku was instantly swallowed up by the flames. Darkness is driven out by light. Wow. Kaido, who was blown away by a punch, spat out a mouthful of blood. The dragon scale breastplate that came out of his heart also exploded directly, and the dragon scales turned into pieces. No, it was powder that fell out one after another. Quote. Exclamation mark quote. Advertisement. Kaido is not reconciled, but so what if he is not reconciled? Bai Ye is stronger than he imagined. Bang, bang, bang. The Kaido that flew upside down crashed into countless tall buildings at the Marine Branch base in a row before smashing hard on the ground, and then was buried by the collapsed rubble. My Lord Governor. Fighting against Wabel, Black Maria, who originally had the upper hand, had a chance to kill Wabel with spider poison, but seeing Kaido being punched by Bai Ye, she didn't care so much, and immediately let Wabel go. Bullion quickly swept towards the direction where Kaido fell. Hateful. Wabel had no choice but to stomp his feet helplessly and roar. He always thought that he was strong enough, but he never expected that he was not even a match for a woman, and he almost died under her poison. Captain Jin, Quinn and the others, seeing this, also left their opponents and rushed towards the direction where Kaido fell. However, they wanted to leave, but it was not that simple. Want to go? Have you got the old man's consent? Whitebeard was old and strong, and the supreme sharp knife Kong Yunchi in his hand turned into a stream of light, slashing towards Jin and the others viciously. Boom. Kong Yunchi detonated the power of the shock fruit. A huge earthquake erupted, the ground shook and the mountains shook. Jin, Quinn, Ling Kong Luzi and others were immediately blocked by Whitebeard. Hateful. Jin didn't expect that Whitebeard still had such physical strength, he had no choice but to make one decision immediately. You guys go first, I'll hold Whitebeard. As Jin said, the mysterious flame on his body suddenly blazed up. Okay then. Quinn hesitated, but agreed anyway. He is still seriously injured, even if he wants to help Jin, he can't do it. Instead of staying here and holding Jin back, it is better to go to their Captain Kaido while Jin is holding Whitebeard and the others back. Advertisement. As for Fa's fur, he was not as hesitant as Quinn. He wished that Jin would die here in battle, so without saying anything, he turned into a saber-toothed tiger and left on his own. The other 6 Valiers were quite conscientious, and cast grateful glances at Jin, and then they sped up and rushed towards the place where Kaido fell. After receiving everyone's grateful gazes, Jin's heart became even more awe-inspiring. If he can cover the departure of his companions, then his own sacrifice is nothing. Besides, he doesn't think he can beat Whitebeard. Want to go? Naturally, Doflamingo would not let Foz Fu, Marco and the others go so easily, nor did he intend to let their opponents go so easily. However, before they could make a move, Jin waved his hand, and the balls of flames immediately turned into meteorites, which could be smashed to death. What an amazing rising star. Whitebeard touched the stern gaze cast on him, and couldn't help but sigh with emotion. During the time when Whitebeard and Jin fought, Jin has always maintained the form of a human, Moxian, and even did not use other forms of Zone Devil Fruit. Just like this, he was already inseparable from the fight. It's no wonder that Whitebeard thinks highly of Jin. In addition, the mysterious flame on Jin's body also made Whitebeard feel a sense of danger. His observation Haki even kept warning him. Tough adversary, but old man Whitebeard isn't a vegetarian. Gu oh hu. Just when Whitebeard was about to fight Jin regardless of the burst wound on his body. At this moment, a flash of thunder came and stopped in front of Whitebeard. What? Only then did Jin react. Bai Ye's speed was too fast, coming too suddenly. Before he came again, he didn't even notice it. Of course, this is just the beginning. In the next second, there seemed to be a delayed scream, and it sounded just now. 199. Frightened Jin. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It seemed that there was a delayed scream, and it just sounded. What? Wow. Black Maria, Quinn, and others who left under the cover of Jin suddenly let out a scream, and then fell to the ground one after another, wisps of blue smoke emitted from their bodies, as if they had been struck down by lightning. This is because Bai Ye didn't do anything to them, but just passed by them, and the lightning force on his body had already knocked them down. If Bai Ye made a move, they would not be as simple as falling to the ground at this moment, and they would probably have died long ago. Bai Ye. Jin was obviously a smart person, knowing what kind of monster he was facing, he immediately turned into a pteranodon without saying a word. Pong. Jin turned into a pteranodon, and the mysterious flames on his body burned even more intensely. So big. Is this the form of zone dragon fruit ancient species pteranodon? Seeing this, everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates couldn't help being amazed. When Marco saw this, he was a little disdainful. If the old man hadn't insisted on dealing with Jin just now, he felt that he would have taken care of Jin long ago, so he didn't need to trouble brother Bai Ye to take action. Indeed, after all, Marco is a zone phantom beast bird fruit phoenix ability user. Just in terms of the quality of the fruit, he has already crushed Jin. Although the quality of the fruit does not completely determine a person's strength, it also depends on the degree of development of your fruit ability, but Marco should indeed be comparable to Jin in terms of strength. Advertisement. Under normal circumstances, Jin can't be Whitebeard's opponent, but Whitebeard's body is getting weaker day by day, coupled with the fact that Jin hasn't been injured until now. But now, that situation is over. Is this your fruit ability? Bai Ye looked at the huge pteranodon hovering above his head, and couldn't help but say something lightly. However, it's just big, but it's useless. As Bai Ye said, he punched Jin from the air. Dragon Slayer magic of fire. The claw of the fire dragon. Boom. As Bai Ye punched out, suddenly, golden flames shot up into the sky, devouring towards Jin. Idiot. Ahem, to use flames to deal with Jin. Seeing this, Quinn, who was struggling to get up from the ground, couldn't help but say something. When other beasts pirates heard the words, they all agreed with Quinn's statement. You know, the mysterious flame on Jin's body is not a decoration. That is the ruler of all flames. Any flames produced by devil fruit can't cause any damage to the mysterious flame wrapped in it. Of course, except for the light blue flame when Marco turned into the form of a phoenix. After all, it is not an ordinary flame, but a cold fire. The flame is actually cold, can you believe it? Marco and the other captains heard what Quinn said, not to mention Bai Ye, so he naturally heard it clearly. However, he didn't seem worried about it at all. Jin, who incarnated as a pteranodon, was delighted to see the golden flames engulfing him. Flame, I just need this power to deal with you. Otherwise, with my own strength, it is absolutely impossible to beat you, Bai Ye. Advertisement. From Jin's point of view, as long as it is the flame produced by Devil Fruit's ability, it is impossible to harm him, and even, it is only to supplement the mysterious flame on his body. As long as he controls the mysterious flame and devours the golden flame soaring into the sky, Jin thinks that maybe he has the qualifications to fight against Bai Ye. In this regard, Jin is still very self-aware. Even Kaido is not Bai Ye's opponent, and it is even more impossible for him to be Bai Ye's opponent. But now, as long as the golden flame is swallowed, the situation can be reversed. However, fantasy is good, but reality is very cruel. Vortex. It's a long story, but it actually happened between lightning and flint. Almost instantly, Jin was swallowed by the golden flames. Jin was about to be overjoyed. This way, the mysterious flame on his body could devour the golden flame without any effort. However, in the next second, his face suddenly changed dramatically. No, this flame is wrong. Jin's face showed extreme horror, but he was trying to avoid the golden flame soaring into the sky, but it was already too late. The golden flame slammed into Jin's body, knocking him into the air. Even the mysterious flames covering his body were extinguished by the golden flames, leaving only a few mysterious flames still entwined around him. Jin's situation can be understood as a small Charmander. The more vigorous the mysterious flame on his body burns, the stronger his strength is, and the weaker the mysterious flame is, the weaker his strength is. Impossible. When Quinn saw that Jin was blown away by the flames, he was immediately stunned. Didn't it mean that the mysterious flame on Jin's body can restrain all the flames produced by Devil Fruit's ability? Even Akainu's magma can't cause any harm to him. So, what's going on here? Advertisement. Similarly, the people of the Beast's Pirates were dumbfounded by the sight in front of them. Impossible, why can't my mysterious flame have an effect on this golden flame? Could it be? Jin suddenly thought of something, and his face, which was already pale due to the injury, became even paler. Of course, because he transformed into a pteranodon and wore an iron mask on his face, he couldn't see it. It's just that Jin's heart at this moment was more shocked than anyone present, because he realized that Bai Ye's golden flame might not be Devil Fruit's ability. After seeing Bai Ye knocking him into the air with a punch, he immediately turned into lightning and chased after him. Jin finally couldn't help his inner curiosity and spoke back. Could it be that, Bai Ye, your flames don't come from the Devil Fruit ability? Bai Ye heard that. Originally, he planned to continue to play with Jin, but his expression suddenly changed. Oh, it seems that you know a great secret. Bai Ye said lightly, the tone is so flat. Is that really the case? So, Jin thought of something again, and the shock on his face became even worse. Could it be that he has so many different abilities, and none of them are Devil Fruit abilities? If so, that would be amazing. If this secret is made public, the whole world will probably be crazy about it, right? Jin, you are really a mysterious guy, calm and smart, but unfortunately, you know too much. Bai Ye's tone was still so flat. However, his hands have gradually turned into steel. Coupled with the blessing of armament hockey, it becomes even darker and brighter. In the next second, a raging golden flame burst out from the two iron fists. 200. Granos. I will not tell you that this doll is Runti. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Fire Dragon Slayer Magic. Iron Yanlong's carved hoof. This is the first time in history that Bai Ye called out the full name of his moves. Dragon Slayer Magic. Jin immediately grasped the key. At this moment, he finally knew that Bai Ye's power did not come from devil fruit, but from something called Dragon Slayer Demon Law. It's a pity that even if you know it, it's useless. The next moment, click, Tai Yanlong's iron hooves had trampled heavily on the Pteranodon. Jin struggled, wanting to fight back, but to no avail. In just an instant, the characteristic hard black armor on the Pteranodon's body burst one after another. Puff. Jin spattered out a mouthful of blood, his entire chest sank, and the power of iron and flame penetrated the Pteranodon's chest, piercing out from its back. A huge iron rod was thrust into Foz Island fiercely, and the golden flames entangled with it. This scene is simply not a gorgeous one that can be described. Everyone was dumbfounded. They only know that Bai Ye has mastered a variety of fruit abilities, but they never thought that there are still people who can combine various fruit abilities so perfectly. The Pteranodon was like a meteorite, falling rapidly from the sky. Ember. Seeing this, Quinn and other beasts pirates couldn't help but shouted. However, even if they wanted to rush over, he was too late. Pteranodon fell really fast. Almost in the blink of an eye, it had already hit the ground hard. Boom. Advertisement. The earth shook. The earth shakes and the mountains shake. In the center of Foz Island, a huge deep pit was directly smashed out by the Pteranodon. Seeing this, people couldn't help swallowing their saliva. This is too powerful. After tidying up Jin, Bai Ye didn't even take a second look, and without turning his head, he turned into a flash of lightning and returned to everyone's side in an instant. Master Bai Ye. Seeing this, Doflamingo hastily complimented him. Virgo beside him saw this, but his expression changed. As the first group of senior cadres who followed Doflamingo, it was the first time for Virgo to see an arrogant Doflamingo who was so humble and flattering to another person. Even when he first cooperated with Kaido, Doflamingo never lowered his figure so much. Of course, if it's Bai Ye's demon. Thinking of this, Virgo actually felt a little taken for granted. Hearing this, Bai Ye really didn't care about Doflamingo's money, and just walked straight towards Robin and Granu. Robin, didn't I tell you not to get involved in this war? Bai Ye reprimanded. After a pause, he added helplessly, go directly to the Whitebeard Pirates and watch the show under everyone's protection, wouldn't it be good? Although it is a reprimand, it is actually more of concern. While Robin was moved, he strengthened his belief even more. To seek asylum from others. Sorry, I really can't do it. Robin said stubbornly. She doesn't want to be treated like a vase by Bai Ye. That's it. Advertisement. When Bai Ye heard this, he was also thoughtful. Perhaps, he only paid attention to his own strength before, thinking that as long as he is strong enough to protect the people around him, it is enough. It is enough for the people around him to eat melons and watch the show under his protection. But now it seems that the people around him may not be willing to do so. At least, Robin will not be content to just be a vase, she hopes that she can help. For this, Bai Ye naturally didn't want to reprimand him, so he could only focus on Granu. Santang, what's the matter with the doll in your hand? Bai Ye said coldly. In Sasuke's hand, she was holding a delicate and lovely doll. When she came, she didn't have a doll in her hand. So, obviously, this is her ability to use the fruit of childishness to turn someone into a rag doll. HMPH, I won't tell you, this is a rag doll that was taken down by a woman named Runti together with Sister Robin. Grano snorted coldly. Duh. Bai Ye heard this and was speechless. Others were ashamed when they heard the words. I'm a big miss, haven't you told everything? Of course, what can everyone say about the little loli who looks only 10 years old on the outside and is estimated to be 10 years old on the inside? Do whatever she says. 0 for flowers. Runti. Bai Ye repeated the name, feeling familiar. Wait, shouldn't it be Runti, one of the 6 volleyball sons? Dragon fruit ancient species Pachycephalosaurus. Run is one of the 6 volleyball sons, and his strength is not simple. Advertisement. Bai Ye never expected that Robin and Granos teamed up to take her down. Of course, the most likely reason is that Robin used the ability of flower branches and fruits to attract Runti's attention, and then, Granos took the opportunity to attack. And who would guard against a little girl who looked only 10 years old? Therefore, Run was careless, and when touched by the sugar, he directly became a toy of the sugar. Of course, this is just Bai Ye's conjecture, and the actual process is much more complicated than this. After all, no matter how you say it, Runti is one of the 6 volley sons under the Beast's Pirates, second only to the 3 disasters. No matter how careless she is, she cannot be unguarded when Granos launches a surprise attack on her. But no matter what, Bai Ye had to look at Robin with new eyes. Her strength may be lacking a bit, but her resourcefulness is definitely rare in the entire pirate world. As expected of the brains of the Straw Hat Pirates. Sensing Bai Ye's appreciative gaze, Robin's mood immediately improved. After that, Bai Ye just walked towards his close friend Whitebeard. Whitebeard, can you handle it? Bai Ye said unceremoniously. Ordinary people would never dare to talk to Whitebeard like that. What are you talking about? How could the old man's body not be able to bear it? In other words, you robbed the old man's opponent Jin. This is your fault, brother Bai Ye. Whitebeard grumbled. In fact, he still wants to have a good fight with young people like Jin. Although my body is still the same, sometimes I want to let go of my hands and feet and move around. There will be opportunities later, won't they? Bai Ye said. 2. Whitebeard thinks what Bai Ye said is right. Although his body is aging day by day, it can still recover with a little cultivation. Now, it is difficult to deal with even Jin, but it is because the old injury of Summit War has not fully recovered, and Zhu Wuxian was seriously injured by Kaido and his eldest sister again. These injuries need time to be cultivated to be small.